Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Uncertainty, self-doubt, stressing about not knowing where to start. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Word art. Sorry, live, laugh, lovers. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Jacksonville, Alabama, it's no longer safe to be a young couple getting it on at makeout spots due to the existence of a local version of the Zodiac killer. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We are excited, as always and usual, for mayhem and craziness and just a disturbing amount of death this week, but also a fun time. It's hard to explain, but trust me. It sounds weird, but believe me, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, very, very quickly, thank you for your reviews this week. They help whatever app platform you're listening to. Those do help a lot. Patreon this week. My goodness, you want to be on Patreon this week. If you're this is the week to start. If you're thinking about it, been on the fence, anybody over the $5 level or $5 or above, you get access to everything that we do on Patreon, both shows, Crime and Sports and Small Town Murders bonuses, everything like that. This week this is a banner week. For the Crime and Sports episode, we have the WBF, which is the World Bodybuilding Federation. which was an idea that Vince McMahon had that people would want to shell out money on pay-per-view television to watch men pose. And it didn't work, shockingly enough. It went out of business in about a year and a half, but we went over that and why it failed, and we watched some of one of the event, and we did a pretty good play-by-play. And you don't even need it because it's just Vince McMahon going, yeah, look at him. Yeah, it's getting hot. Over and over again.
WBF stood for Wrist Breaking Friday. As
Vince is stroking
Vince
away.
Just tugged like crazy to these grown men flexing.
And then for Small Town Murders bonus episode, we did it, what the hell, the most requested one we've gotten so far, one of them. We did the whole Scott Peterson, Lacey Peterson, the murder, the whole debacle, and everything like that. And a lot of people think he's innocent. A lot of people think he's guilty. A lot of people think he's guilty, but they didn't have any evidence. So there's a lot to go over. We went over his whole interrogation and his story to see if that shit makes any sense at all. And
no matter what theory you run with, allow James to ruin or certainly confirm it.
The pizza theory will spin your mind.
It's fantastic.
The risky business theory is definitely there. Listen to the episode.
If you've been married, you get it, and you'll know exactly whether he's innocent or guilty.
I'm telling you. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Do that. And you'll get a shout out at the end of the show as well, of course, because God damn it, we appreciate you. And if you want to make a PayPal donation, or you can do that on PayPal, using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And you'll still get the shout out at the end of the show. Yes. There we go. Also, live shows. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com right now. Live shows are up and available. There are a few tickets to Brea left. This is in 2 weeks, so get your tickets right now.
You better hurry, because that one's going to go.
And then the first Seattle show, the Thursday night Seattle show. Some reason their website's a little weird. You have to figure out what you're buying, but it's in there. Trust us. Get your tickets to that right now. Let's sell those out.
Almost gone. Hurry
Everything
up.
else is sold out, so we'll do that. That said, disclaimer.
Yeah.
This is a comedy show, everybody. We're comedians, and we're going to talk about horrible murders, obviously. That's what the show is about. But you don't have to be, doesn't have to be like that. You're not making jokes about murder. There's nothing funny about someone being dismembered. That's not funny. No. There is a lot of funny in someone going, I think I can dismember this person and probably not get caught for doing it. Yeah, I can clean this blood up. Nope, that's ridiculous. So it's that kind of thing we're going to talk about. A bumbling police force that lets a murderer go because they're just he looks fine. Things like that. This is what we're looking at here. What we don't do, what we go out of our way not to do, is we do not make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes. But we're not scumbags, and you'd have to be.
Deal, people.
You'd have to be to do that. So, with that said, I think it's time to sit back and shout, "Shut up and give me murder!" Let's do this, Jimmy.
All right.
Let's go on a trip, shall we?
All right.
Right. We're staying down south. We were going to be in Massachusetts this week, but long story short, we ended up in Alabama. We'll do Massachusetts next week.
We made a left turn.
We made a little. I made a left turn at Albuquerque. So, people, if anybody says, hey, you've been picking on the South a lot lately, don't worry. We did 2 New York episodes in there. We'll be picking on the Northeast plenty. Our Thanksgiving episodes in New Jersey. And you know how I love to make fun of New Jersey. So let's have fun here and go down to Alabama.
All right.
It's been a minute, and it's weird again, as we'll talk about here. This is Jacksonville, Alabama, just like Florida, but Alabama. Mm-hmm. It's in northeastern Alabama, about an hour 20 to Birmingham, Alabama to the west, about an hour 40 to Atlanta to the east, and then it's about 20 minutes to a place we know very well, Jimmy, Anniston, Alabama. I don't know why. It's not my fault that this county produces such insane murders, and that's what we keep being drawn to. I can't help that.
Well, yeah, it's the PCBs in our blood now. We keep being magnetically drawn back.
I don't know. It has to be the PCBs of what, because the murders are crazy here. Literally 3 out of 4 murders I find in Alabama are in Calhoun County, which they say it's Callan. That's how they say they pronounce it there. No, it's Cal fucking Hoon. I'm looking at it. Houn is Hoon in America or any other place in the world. So
ask Brian how to pronounce Callan. He'll tell you.
That's how you exactly.
How to spell it. Yeah.
So Anniston was our last one, episode 199 in Alabama. So it's been a minute here. Area code 256. It's about 11 square miles. This town is very different from Anniston, even though it's only 20 minutes away. This is a college town and kind of revolves around the college, everything here. Totally kind of a different place. They're not connected or anything. There's just some woods between them. So it's not like one's a suburb or anything. It's about 11 square miles, this town here. It has to be to cover, big college campus. And the motto here is, quote, education, commerce, heritage. So that's a tough word there. So
I hate that word.
I feel like they're setting out a timeline. You go to college, and then you make money, and then you sit back and you look back on your college days and when you made money. Like that's what you're going to do there. I don't know how they're working that. The other motto that everyone uses here is, we swear we're not Anniston. That's the other one. It's like, only used amongst our listeners. History of this town. Jacksonville was founded in 1833. It is land purchased from the Creek Indian chief, Duhogue is his name. Duhogue Ladiga. It was first called Drayton for the first year it was around. And then in 1834, they said, damn it, we have to honor the president, Andrew Jackson. And there he is again. He just keeps popping up in here.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. So it served as the county seat for, as they call it, Calhoun County, which it's Calhoun. Until the 1900s came around when it was moved to Anniston. And we discussed that, how Anniston stole the records. There was a big thing about that on the first Anniston episode. The Jacksonville State University was founded here in 1883, and that's what the town is surrounded. It's the middle of the town. It's what the town's about, is this university. From what I understand, in the summer, it's like a quiet, dead place, and then in the fall, you can't drive down the street because there's so much traffic from college kids and shit here. Things changed in the 20th century. Obviously, you need new kinds of industry when we know what happened to the industry. So, they're like, we have to pay people? Shit. Well, we gotta do something else then. That's literally what happened. They became from farming. They went into other areas of industry, and then they started putting army bases in the area, and federal money started coming in, and that changed also how this place was. Fort McClellan was near here, and the Anniston Army Depot also. So new people coming in all the time, people from the outside, it changes a place. It makes it, between the college and the army base, there's a lot of younger people, a lot of turnover. It's not just whittling on the porch here.
It's not a lot of professional stuff. No. It's what can you do to keep busy for now?
Yeah, it's not a lemonade commercial here, is what we're saying. So, it became big. The university, they let it become kind of the middle of the town. And an F3 tornado hit Jacksonville on March. Of course it did. It always does. And they really expect them by now, because wait till you hear what I believe it's the dean of the school said about this whole thing, the university's president. It's fucking hilarious. So it was almost $42 million in damages to the city and university.
Wow.
Which is,
what year was this?
2018. So this was
just happened.
Not a lot of casualties though, no deaths, and only 4 injuries because it was spring. It was spring break during the college, so
everybody's gone.
A lot of the town was cleared out. So they were reopening everything. Once they reopened it, they were at the football stadium, and Dr. John Beeler, the university's president, said, and I quote, "It's a joyous event generally because you're celebrating the accomplishments of all your graduates. But it's an even more joyous event because it's, to me, a celebration of how far we've come in a short time in recovering from these tornadoes." These. Plural. So, God, I mean, 5 times a year they wipe us out. We figure out how to just keep bouncing back from these tornadoes. It sounds like there's monsters that live in the hills. These monster attacks, we finally figured out how to repel them.
They can't come back now, so everything's going to be fine. Tornadoes happen so frequently. It's so crazy. They are, and one big storm will generate fucking hundreds of them.
Oh, there's so many tornadoes are frightening. Everywhere. They're so scary.
It's so scary.
Just this little thing that's going to suck me into the sky and destroy everything in its path.
And you can see one forming and then not have any clue how big that's going to get.
Oh, no.
That's the scary part.
And then it's just going to be like an inverted lathe just tearing apart the fucking entire landscape.
Everything down.
Oh, my God, tearing it up. So reviews of this town. Now, we got a couple from different spectrums here. Sure. Here's 5 stars. This is perfect. The town is idyllic to these people here. Right. 5 stars, quote, the small town feel and friendly people are the best, exclamation point. Couldn't imagine living anywhere else, exclamation point. The cost of living is low. There's lots of restaurants and shops, beautiful landscape, and the university is right here as well. It's very diverse, family and pet friendly, and people seem to genuinely care about each other.
Seem to.
Wow. I mean, I guess
at least they fake it.
You can't. I was gonna say you can't ask for more than that. That is the Southern way, anyway. You know. Yeah. Right. I mean, even bless your heart means fuck yourself. So it's passive aggressiveness is kind of an art form down there.
Bless you or bless your heart or I'll pray for you. All of them mean go fuck yourself.
Bless your heart, go fuck yourself. Whereas in New York, go fuck yourself can mean how you doing? Nice to meet you. It's a reverse thing. That could mean you're actually being nice.
That means Merry Christmas, for Christ's sake. They say go fuck yourself while they hand you a gift.
Hey, go fuck yourself. You're like, thanks, pal. Good for you. Yeah, go shove your head up your ass. All right, buddy. It's beautiful. I love the Northeast. So 2 stars is this person. Completely you heard that one. Everybody's wonderful. Everything is wonderful. This person is living a different experience. 2 stars. People here are ignorant and abrasive. Mm-hmm. They don't seem to genuinely care about each other, apparently, to this person.
Somebody told me, bless your heart.
Yeah. There are very few job, investment, and cultural opportunities. However, the area is pretty, and many of the historic sites are interesting to visit. It is beautiful around here, by the way. The pictures of, like, the landscape and shit, it's gorgeous. It's, the hills and the tree. It's beautiful. It really is. It's fucking beautiful. I mean, if you were a college student or retired, you could sit and look at the view. That's nice, but otherwise, here's 2 stars. Very simple. Quote, there's nothing to do in this area. I feel like that's a college kid.
There you go.
Nothing to fucking do. I can't meet.
Top golf to be seen.
Nothing. Can I get anything in here? Jesus Christ. So population of this town, it's grown a lot, actually. In 1960, it only had about 5,000 people in it. Here today, it has 12,972 people, up 54% since 1990. So it's grown quite a bit recently.
Is that college fairly affordable too? And whereas all the other ones,
it's a state university, so I think
it's expensive.
No, state one's going to be cheaper than a private college. Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. Especially if you're like an in-state student.
Yeah.
So you're going to get that, I think.
If you can't get into Alabama, then you can just go here.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know what else. Auburn. You can't. Auburn rejected you, and then you're like, well, I guess Jacksonville State sounds nice. I don't know. Sure. It sounds like
that Ole Miss rejection letter. I'm head on over here.
Damn it, them too. Fuck. This sucks. Clemson. God, fuck you.
Nothing.
Damn it. All right, fine. I'll go to Jacksonville State. So population of this town, 12,972, like I said, more females than males, which is because it's a college town. There are more women going to college than men, so that's how that works statistically. Median age here is 26.7, as to be expected with the college, normally almost 38. The 18 to 24 demographic is super high, like just double.
Exploding.
Yeah, it's like double normal, and then everything else is kind of average-ish. 85 years old and older is higher too here than normal. So,
really?
Yeah, very old or very young. That's how this town works. Maybe they're there to party.
And people that have forgotten everything they know.
People just like, this town has changed. I know, because I've been sitting in this very chair for 83 years. And it changed. I watched it. Married population, a college town, much lower. It's usually 50-50. Here it's 32%, so much lower. Single with no children, though. Okay, now you'd imagine all these kids, it would probably be a lower. It's only 17%.
Is that
It's normally 10, so I don't know if all these college kids have kids or what the fuck is going on here, but
that is curious.
That is a strange thing. Or they're married. I'm not one of the two. Either they're getting married or having kids. So race of this town It is 71.3% white, which is it's about 61.5% in the rest of the country. It's 23.4% black, which is almost double the national average, 1.4% Asian, and about 1.5% Hispanic. So it's a southern town, black and white, pretty much. And so there you go. Religion in this town in Jacksonville, Alabama. This is Alabama, and they are representing 72.2% of the people here are religious. That's about as high as we've gotten. We had Scamania a couple weeks ago that was as low as we've gotten. This is pretty high. And no shock here, 42.3% are Baptist.
Baptist is fuck.
As we know, Baptists are the Catholics of the South.
Of the South.
There they are. And that's pretty much all there is. A couple Pentecostals here and there, but 0.1% Jewish. Not a whole lot of Jewish people in Alabama. In Calhoun County, politically, it's pretty conservative. It's, rural Alabama. It's to be expected. 30% voted Democrat in the last election, 69% Republican, about 1.3% independent. Unemployment rate is low here because there's a lot of retail jobs and stuff, but the pay isn't that high because there's a lot of college kids too.
College kid jobs, right.
It's one of those. Median household income is $40,000 a year, which is much, much lower than the national average. But you add the kids in there and it all kind of shakes out.
Just enough to pay rent.
Yeah, most of the jobs, it's 40% of the jobs are either education or retail. So it's either the college or stores. They're not, you know what I mean?
College or the Jacksonville State merch store.
I was going to say the bookstore. You're selling Jacksonville State sweatshirts.
Pennants, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, well, we'll call ourselves the Jaguars. Maybe people won't know the difference. Maybe they'll buy it by accident. Oh, nobody likes them either? Fuck! God damn it.
Are they the parrots? Didn't he have a racist parrot?
We had a coked up parrot on our Crime and Sports episode.
Jackson had a racist parrot.
Oh,
From what I'm told, that said racist shit at his funeral.
I thought you meant something completely different. But yes, no, you're right about that too. So overall here, cost of living, 100 is regular, average. Here it is 83.7. So not too low, but the housing is low, which I guess is good if you're a college kid. Median home cost here, $153,300, which is pretty damn low.
That seems expensive, though, for a temporary house because it's going to disappear.
I guess if you live there, if you're like a professor or something, the national average is $291, so it's a little over half the national average. So if that sounds irresistible to you, you can't stop, won't stop, need to be in Jacksonville, we have for you the Jacksonville, Alabama Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom rental here goes for about $777 a month, which is on par with the housing cost. But I think that's good if you're a college kid. That's what you're going to be doing. The houses, though, I found they're pretty affordable. I found a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, 1,790 square foot house. So
this is house one? That's a big house.
It's a big house, good family house there. You get 3 bedrooms. There's 4 bathrooms, so the kids won't be all over you when you're trying to take a dump. It's good stuff for everybody. It's an odd-looking house. It almost looks like one of those old churches, but not the steeple churches, the kind of southern
the white ones with the little patio.
Oh yeah, and they have the metal roofs. You know what I mean? That's what it's got, a red roof, a red metal roof. So it kind of looks like
on the monitor. Let me see.
It's very odd. Here, I don't have the picture of it up here now. Otherwise, I'd turn it to you, but I don't.
I want to see that.
It's a weird looking one. I'll show you after the show. Needs an update, big time inside. It's 70s-rific in there. $97,900 though for it. So I mean, affordable for a big house, good bones. I found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath here, 2,189 square feet. It's
so much house.
It's a lot of house. It really. It's brick. It's all brick for tornado purposes. I assume you won't get your house taken by the nader.
Puff, motherfucker.
It's really weird inside, though. It's got. It looks like certain areas were updated and certain ones weren't, and there's I
love weird.
It's almost like it's like a tour through time. This is the 70s. Oh, I like the early 90s touches here, and then into the 2000s. It's like one of those radio stations that
I like it,
playing hits from the 80s, 90s, and today. It's I feel like that's what it is. It has a metal black backsplash
Oh, that's cool as
metal.
shit.
Yeah, it's old as fuck.
No, is it?
It's old.
I don't know.
It's just old. It's really old. Nice floors all throughout, though. Really nice wood floors. $149,750 for that, though.
That's so awesome.
That's not bad for 2,200 square feet. Then I found let's say you're the dean of the school or whatever.
Yeah.
You're the guy who's proud of our tornado reaction.
Right.
I found a 6-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,307 square foot house. Very nice. 2-story, all brick with the big white columns in the front.
Fuck yes.
It's gorgeous. Very nice. Looks inside. It's beautiful. Everything's well appointed. It's like updated but classic. You know what I'm saying? It looks like it's just like restored and perfectly to what it was, and like, you know,
I love it.
It's beautiful, very nice. $325,000 for this house.
Wow.
That's $2 million in Phoenix, I would say.
Yeah.
That's
at minimum.
wow. That's a nice house. It's really nice too. It's a beautiful home. Things to do in this wonderful little metropolis. I found the Spirit of Mountain Street. Street? Yeah, street. That's what that says. Spirit of Mountain Street. Festivities begin at 6 p.m. with music, live performances, games, and even a kids zone, Jimmy.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Guests, quote, go get yourself a kid and bring them here. Quote, guests can graze the vendor tables. I don't want to graze. No. I'm a human being. I'm not grazing shit. That is not okay. Sampling popular restaurant menu items in exchange for festival tokens, which are priced at $1 each. Okay, but how many do you have to exchange? They make it sound like everything's $1, is what it sounds like, but that's not what it is. No. Adult beverages will be available for purchase for attendees ages 21 and older. Admission is free. All proceeds will be donated to the Jacksonville Christian Outreach Center. As the sun goes down, Jimmy, that's when it starts to heat up, though. That's as they're saying here. Yeah. As the sun goes down, artist Michael Ray will take the stage at 8 p.m. Jimmy? Help here?
Whoever the fuck he is.
He's a country guy.
Is he? What's his name?
Michael Ray.
Oh, boy.
R-A-Y. In a free public concert presented by the GSU Student Government Association. This will be the 4th year the festival's ended with a concert. Great. 2017, they had Riley Green. Then they had Morgan Wallen.
Let's not brag that we had that guy there.
I don't know who
that guy
is.
just got in huge trouble because he's screaming the N-word at the concert. He's a piece of shit is what he is.
That's the guy that screamed the N-word over and over again and then had literally the #1 on the charts country album for, what was it, 10 months, I think, or some crazy shit?
I don't think that's true.
No,
way.
It absolutely,
right?
it is every month I would see there'd be a new, still #1 on the country charts. Man, saying the N-word really gets you some sales in this market. I swear on my life that is true.
That tells me for sure. If that's real,
it's
then
definitely
he absolutely
real. I was reading it every month.
He absolutely figured out what mainstream radio loves to play, and it is trash. And trash people.
And then Scott McCreery in 2019. Yep. Is that?
Are you serious?
I swear to God. Have we discussed him before?
No, but okay. Scotty McCreery was on American Idol.
Oh, there you go. That's what they got now. That's what they're doing.
That's what they're touting as their fucking headliners. That's trash.
It. This guy, he apparently, what is this? A lot of YouTube views and all this type of shit.
He's trash.
And then there's the Jacksonville Fall Festival presented by Chick-fil-A. And
Chick-fil-A hates gays. Morgan Wallen, obviously what he hates. What? Alabama, you are not doing anything for yourselves.
Not helping yourself here. Help me help you. It is let's see, this whole thing here. This is $10 to get in. There's a pumpkin patch. And try your hand at candy corn bowling. What the fuck is that? I have no idea. That's a big, very large piece of candy corn, and you hurl it at something until it knocks some other shit down.
That's mad vague. What if they just like set up a bunch of candy corn and you got to flick a marble at it?
Maybe it's tiny bowling. Maybe it's little. Yeah. It's on tabletop.
Or you actually bowl, and then the prize is that awful candy.
Maybe that's no prize. And now $10 to get in. You get one pumpkin plus decorations for it, a treat bag, a photo booth with a photographer, and you get games with prizes. So you get stuff. Crime rate in this town, what we're into here, obviously. The property crime is about 1/3 high, which is normal for a college town. There's a lot of usually petty shit that includes like pissing in the alley outside the bar and shit like that. That's all in this type of shit.
All encompassing.
Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime, on the other hand, is usually low in these towns. Here it's about 50% high. So
really,
I don't know what the fuck is going on. That's why we do so many eps in this area. You know what I mean? We're always doing episodes around here. It's the PCBs and they're causing violence. That's all I'm going to say. It's like, why are football players like, strangling people and all that? Because their brains are pudding. That's why. They've been hitting the head a lot. This is the same reason here.
Right.
They've been drinking poison since birth. What do you expect? So murder, we need to talk about here. Let's get into this. Let's get into the murder. Or murderers, I shall say.
Oh,
and
boy.
This is one of the weirdest confluences of weird I've ever fucking heard of in my life. I don't even know how to describe it ahead of time. It's one of those, if you had to put it in a nugget, it's unnuggetable. So I just have to start out.
You can't boil it down to words like pink slime, James?
It's really weird, man. It blows my mind that there's two people. Imagine you go into a bank, okay? Let's say you go into a bank wielding a shotgun. You whip it out, and as you're saying everybody on the fucking floor, you notice everybody's already laying on the fucking floor. And you look around, and you're like, what the fuck? And then there you see at the counter, there's a guy with a shotgun, turns to you and goes, occupado, motherfucker, take a hike. What are you doing? I'm busy here. Go. And you're like, oh, my bad. Sorry, I'll find a 7-Eleven. That's what happened here, except not with banks, and that'll make sense when we watch it. What else would you say to a second bank robber, right?
Yeah. Freeze, everybody. What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Sorry. And you wave. You give a little wave. Sorry about that. Sorry, everybody.
Got it.
Sorry for that second disturbance.
I guess you just scream dibs. I don't know. What do you do?
Well, you give me all the money they give you then. So, yeah, this has nothing to do with bank robberies. This obviously it's slimier than that, but bank robberies make sense. But this is it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, and somehow this isn't an extremely famous thing, even though there's essentially multiple Zodiac killers floating around doing the same shit at the same time that was happening. It's crazy. So January 3rd, 1977, we will start out with.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. We're going back to the 70s, Alabama, Allman Brothers wafting softly out of
fucking Leonard Skinner. Jesus.
As we've talked about with the other one. I got one more $7. That's from everywhere. Everywhere.
And over again.
Every time you walk in a bar. I think they replaced the bells in convenience stores doors with that too. You open it instead of rattle, it's
I'm going to be honest with you, Joe James. That is my favorite guitar riff of all time.
It's a fucking great song.
It's so good.
The guitar riff is so great that the song has 14 words and it's still on. It's still a classic.
It's still my favorite.
They repeat the same 3 lines over and over again for the entire song, but they just go in between it. It's amazing.
Somehow they found
that's how your brain works.
That never gets old.
No, it's that. It's the Under Pressure. It's that riff. It's that these little riffs get stuck in your head, and that's why you like songs. Doesn't matter what they say. That's why musicians and rappers can say crazy shit in their lyrics, and nobody cares. And if a comedian says it, it's the end of the world. Yeah. You can't say shit that people say in lyrics.
Oh my God, no.
R&B lyrics about fucking, as a comedian, they'd be like, oh my God, there's got to be a trail of women back there in the green room. Save them. Whereas, if
some of Keith Sweat's lyrics are certainly nuts.
R. Kelly was doing that and fucking kids, and women were still like, I love you, R. Kelly. Here's my panties. Take my underwear.
Too.
I want to fly.
Come back, Rob.
What the fuck?
Take me with you, Rob.
Oh, so
put me in a cage, Rob.
Oh, I read a book about him, and oh boy, we'll have to do a bonus on him.
Gross.
He's gross. So January 3rd, 1977, the new year has rung in here. John Travolta is disco dancing all over the place. We know what's going on here. Let's talk about Jacqueline Nance, who is a senior at Alexandria High School, and Kenneth James, who graduated the year before and is her boyfriend. And she's 18, he's 19. They've been together, described as for years, which is like, how many years can you be together if you're 18 years old? I don't know
5 at the most.
Yeah, at the most. I mean, did you get together in junior high and stay together? This is nuts.
Right.
So anyway, that night, police officers are called to the scene of a park here on January 3rd. It's dark, nighttime. Yeah. It's kind of a makeout spot. This is where they're sitting here. Now, police arrived to the scene after hearing reports of gunshots in the area. So they report to the scene. And
when is this, October?
This is January 3rd.
January.
So just after the new year. Chilly outside. Right. So they were.
Season.
Yeah. But this is like a parking lot makeout area. You know what I mean?
Not
this isn't.
Season.
No. This is like what was the one Zodiac? I think it was the first Zodiac kill. There was the couple parked out on like a mountain road out on the side. This is that sort of situation here. Okay. So first thing they notice is Jacqueline Nance about, from the measurements, 33 feet from the driver's door of the car, lying on the ground, not appearing lifeless. So that's the first thing they see. There's blood. There's a trail of blood leading from the car to her. There is, she is covered in blood, and things have not been going well for her, obviously. She will die later on that morning.
She is not dead yet.
Not dead yet. She will be taken to the emergency room where she'll die in a couple hours. Okay. So, now the keys to the car had been broken off in the ignition.
Wow.
Okay, so the key is snapped off in the ignition, and the keys they found thrown, arm's distance from a car, like thrown as far as you can throw it, basically, as far a set of keys, 150 feet from the car or whatever, shit like that.
Why would you do that?
So snapped them all. I mean, didn't just throw the keys either. Then they could snapped it off in the ignition and threw it, which is really aggressive. Apparently they thought, obviously that was probably the killer that did that. You wouldn't imagine. That's an extreme length to go to keep someone from stealing your car. I'm gonna ruin it for myself too. So
is it one of those cars that has like the little button you got to press to take it out of the ignition? You know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah.
And
he just snapped
it to get it out.
Maybe. Who knows? Now the Kenneth James, the boyfriend who's also been shot, he is able to give a fairly detailed description of the man who killed his girlfriend and shot him. But they said he's also been shot, and it was nighttime. So the police chief said, quote, "We don't know how accurate it is, the description." Right. This is exactly like the Zodiac's one on the side of that road. And then there's other ones where he would go to parks and find couples sitting on a blanket and stuff like that. And we'll get into all that. So this shooting was off Broadwell Mill Road in Calhoun County, and it was late night on January 2nd going into January 3rd, like we said. Now, it's rough. They were parked just off the road. Reportedly, a car pulled up behind Jacqueline's car. She was in the driver's seat, and the car pulled up behind them with its brights on. Okay. And they assumed it was possibly a police officer, because police officers tend to blast out drown you out in light when they get behind you. So they said they were kind of not like real on edge at first. They were like, oh shit, we're going to get caught. But they didn't think, oh, this guy's going to do something to us. They thought it was a cop going, hey, you can't fuck here. Like their kids making out.
That girl and get out of here.
Yeah, you can't do that here. So they said that they couldn't figure out what age he was. It's undetermined age. They just gave a rough outline of him. He left the vehicle, walked up to Jacqueline's window, and he asked them why they were parked there, which again is something.
It's a police question.
Yeah. And when you're a kid too, any adult that comes up to you when you're a teenager, when you're doing something, any adult that comes up, they're automatically, like the head of the FBI. It doesn't matter who they are. They're your principal, your father, your the cop, everybody to you when you're a kid.
They're the authority figure at this moment.
Exactly. And you're not allowed to be like banging out in public or shit like that or making out. So you're expecting, oh no, we're going to get busted. So they were like, they started to talk. And as they started to talk, this guy just took a gun out and started blasting at him. Started shooting. Now, this was at the driver's side window, so Jacqueline took the brunt of it because she was, in the path right there. She got struck once in the head, and that put her down. Now, Ken James was shot twice in the left shoulder, once in the neck, and once behind the ear.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he got shot a lot. they couldn't tell. This guy didn't remember who got shot first. He just remembered he couldn't tell which bullets went where. He just said there was a bunch of shooting quick and both of us were shot. That's all we know.
Stunning.
Now, he managed somehow to stumble, crawl, drag himself. And that's a lot of. There's a lot of blood coming out of you. Shot behind the ear.
Extra holes right now. Yeah.
Yeah. For him to be able to get out of the car, even they both got out of the car and tried to struggle. As the guy took off, they got out of the car. She went one way, he went the other. She only made it 33 feet. He made it 0.2 of a mile.
Wow.
Ken James made it 0.2 of a mile, shot four times.
That's a quarter mile. That's so far.
That's so fucking far. It's like a city block. He went bleeding profusely from 4 holes.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You got to want it, Yeah. He made it all the way to a trailer home owned by a Mrs. Diane Holmesley. Okay. Now, according to her, she heard a knock on the door shortly after 10 o'clock. She said she'd been not watching the news and apparently kept her TV's really loud. She's an older lady and she keeps her TV on super loud, so she didn't hear any gunshots from 0.2 of a mile away. At least 5 or 6 gunshots, and she didn't hear any, which is, Jesus. Your TV's fucking loud, lady.
That's a lot of volume.
She opened the door to let him in, seeing that he was covered in blood and, probably in need of attention.
Fascinating. Also.
And then she called the police shortly before 11 o'clock. And that's when the police pulled up and found Jacqueline. She was partially clothed, they called it. So they were probably making out in the car. That's what was going on. You know what I mean? It's obvious. They were making out in the car. As they're 18 and 19 years old. They just don't have anywhere to go.
That's really unfortunate too.
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah. I mean, they've been together for years. They can make out if they want, but so this poor
the robbery of dignity in that situation is so fucked up.
It's really fucked up. There was a huge effort to save her life. She was still hanging on when they got her to the emergency room, but she quickly lost life after that. So he ends up going to the hospital as well, and he's hurt pretty badly, as we understand. He will make a recovery, but they said they don't know how accurate his description of anything could be because he's been shot in the head. So that's different. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Now they have a suspect here later on that comes in, but right now this is just
wide open case,
wide open season. They said they have, quote, no substantial leads in the shooting at all. They don't know what to do. The Alabama Bureau of Investigation Captain James Bubba Davis said, "Don't worry, guys, Bubba's on the case." Oh, good. As long as Bubba's finding my daughter's killer, it's fine. Hold on, I have to go to my oncologist, Bubba fucking Feinstein, as well, and I'm going to go there, and we're going to... No.
Right after he shoots the jukebox. That's a country song, sorry.
It really is. I know. He said, "We are checking out various leads in the case," and Jackie had been a senior at Alexandria High School, and she worked at First National Bank of Jacksonville.
Okay.
As an after-school job. Ken James, like we said, he ends up being upgraded to fair condition the next day in the intensive care unit. He recently graduated high school, and they're trying to figure out.
They're so young.
They're so young. Yeah, I mean, he graduated high school the year before. She's graduating this year. They got their whole lives ahead of them, and this is ridiculous, man. The investigator searched the scene and trying to figure it out, what the fuck is going on here. And later on, we'll have a very similar case, like they say. And so the coroner said they had parked in the car. It was a late model compact car, about 100 feet off the road in a piney woods and brush area. Makeout time. Right. Vehicle pulled up, like we said, bright lights, undetermined age, shooting. They said, quote, "He walked up to the side of the car and asked them they didn't know where they weren't supposed to be parked there. Then he just started firing." Nance was struck once, Jackie here, between her temple and forehead on the left side of her face.
It's over.
That's fucked, man. He said the shot was fired at extremely close range, possibly with the gun in contact with her head.
Could have been touching her.
That fucking close. And then James was shot 4 times, as we said. They said it was a handgun. They're still trying to figure out everything, all the details and the calibers and everything like that. And he said that they were just, everybody is freaked out. She said the woman who was at the trailer, she said that his face was, quote, all puffed up like he'd been shot there, and one of his hands was bleeding badly. And she said, he smeared blood on her door leaning on it, like he left a blood trail everywhere. Which
his hand probably wasn't bleeding. It was probably dripping from his shoulder.
Yeah. And she didn't. Just an older lady. So they could conduct an extensive search of the woods around there. And they're really, really that's how they found the keys, because they were doing basically a comb out, fan out from the car and look for anything they could find, shell casings, keys. Right. When they saw the keys broken off in the ignition, that's when they were like, well, maybe we'll get a fingerprint on a key if we can find these fucking keys. So they do all of that. They could not find the weapon yet, though. That's the only problem. They said, quote, "We really don't know what we're looking for, but you're not going to find anything until you look."
Good point.
Yeah, those are That's one of those where you just go, okay, Foghorn Leghorn, you got yourself a point, I guess. I don't know.
You've earned yourself a donut, Bubba. Sit
wow.
down.
What the fuck? That's really good shit. So, my
Have
God,
a coffee,
man.
sir.
Please have a cup of coffee.
I'm baffled also, but I'm not going to. I'm
No.
not talking to the press about it.
So we have a Zodiac type killer on the loose here. We have a dead girl. We have that one scene. It's exactly like you described, like it's described too. The guy survives. The girl crawled out of the car. It's like exactly the same. So it's freaky. So we fast forward 6 months now, 7 months actually. July 17th, 1977. So 6.5 months later. Now we're going to talk about two other young people here. Donna Tucker, she's 18, and Howard Mark Martin. He goes by Mark, though. Yeah. Mark Martin, he's 19 at the moment here. Now, Donna is a freshman at Jackson State. They're both from the area, but that's where she's going to school. She's majoring in medical technology, which is a good major. In the 70s, woo boy, that field exploded in the next.
It's about to get real good for you, Donna.
Man, yeah, that's a really good field. Smart girl. Yeah. And from all accounts, very, very smart girl, Donna. She is not dumb at all. Her father works at the Birmingham Foundry and is also the pastor of the Riverside Baptist Church.
Yeah, salt of the earth.
That's not too shabby there. Now that's Martin is the Baptist Church pastor's son. Yeah, that's Mark Martin. Tucker is a freshman here. They are engaged to be married as well, and they haven't set a date yet, but they're engaged, and
all the time in the world.
Fucking Jack and Diane here, that's all it is. This is Mark and Donna. It's the same shit. This is a John Cougar Mellencamp song. They're engaged. No definite date, but they're ready to go here. Martin also, he is going to, he was accepted at JSU, but he decided instead to attend the Gadsden State College branch at Pell City for his first 2 years because it's less expensive. So he's going to go there, get all his prereqs done, and then go to university.
Go do the impressive shit.
Very, very pragmatic, smart people, these two. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's going to do that.
Very
fiscal.
Smart.
She's like medical technology.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with these two already. They graduated from Springville High School in May. Martin lives in Riverside, but he attended Springville with her there. Now Martin's family lived, but they moved to Riverside when his father became the pastor, and he stayed behind and went to school there and hung out with his girlfriend. They were both active in church and school. They're popular in school. Everybody likes them. They're well known. They're all that shit. So she's a really good student. Was the salutatorian of her graduating class. I don't know what that is. I've heard
the person that says hi the most.
she will salute the greatest. She's amazing. Yeah. I don't know what a salutatorian is. There's a lot of T's in there. Salutatorian. Tutatorian. That's what it is. Salutatorian. Salutatorian.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know what that is either. But she's the that of her graduating class.
I guess it's pronounced salutatorian, right?
Yeah, salutatorian. I don't know what that is. I honestly don't. And she's also vice president of the student council. So doing very well. And she goes to JSU on an academic scholarship as well.
She's awesome.
She's bad fucking ass, this girl.
Is that better than the valedictorian?
I don't know. I have no idea. But I don't know. We neither. If you're a new listener, neither of us have any formal education whatsoever.
Education has just passed me right by.
Any college, anything is way over our heads. That is just not anything that was ever even thought about. So as if she's not great enough being on an academic scholarship, super smart, doing all this shit. She was also Miss Springville last year as well. So she's also
brilliant and hot. Get out of here.
She's got it all, this girl. I mean,
she has figured out the best parts of life.
Fuck yeah, Mark's a lucky dude, man. He's got the gem of the area here, of the whole Calhoun County. She is the fucking prize jewel. So Miss Springville title last year. She was also a contestant in this year's Junior Miss pageant in Mobile as well.
Wow.
So yeah, and she's a drum major also, and president of the Springville High School Band, and also has a big role in youth activities at the Springville United Methodist Church.
Unbelievable.
That's not a real person. That sounds like that's crazy.
Musically talented also?
Yeah, she's musically talented, beautiful, smart, helps the kid. It's for the kids. She's fucking.
She is incredible.
She's smart. She's got a good eye on the future. This girl is like, I don't know. Wow, that's incredible. And then Martin, not too bad either. He's in all St. Clair. This was St. Clair County they were in. Mm-hmm. He was all St. Clair County in both football and basketball. Three years in high school. This is Mr. and Mrs. Alabama here.
Honest to fuck, man.
Like, I don't even think they met. Like, people just said, you two are together and you should be. And they put them together and, you two are getting married. They
came out of the machine and somebody put them together.
And then they modeled the bride and groom on top of the cake after them. This is crazy.
It's incredible.
They couldn't be any better. One of his boss here, because he works also nights pumping gas here and there to make money.
Yeah, why not make him even more
humble
and amazing?
Working man, modest. Why not? Yeah, it's not even like
working man, midnight grave shot.
Yeah, pumping gas. These people couldn't be better people. Some of the best people we've had on the show ever, probably.
I'm stunned by how great they are.
It's incredible. His boss said, quote, he can make more things happen on a football field or a basketball court than any little man I've ever seen. Because he's only like 5'10", but he's still, for a basketball, it's small. So he's even the greatest pound for pound on both sports that the man's, quote, ever seen. Ever seen. Not in high school. Ever.
Outstanding point guard I've ever witnessed.
Yeah. He's going to see Muggsy Bogues in a little while and go, nah.
Nope.
Not. I'll take Mark any day.
Spud Webb.
He was being looked at by a number of small colleges for a football scholarship, but then he hurt his knee. In his senior year, and kind of the college scholarship offers kind of started to go away. So he just said, that's cool. I'll go to this college for 2 years, and then I'll go over to Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
No worries. I got this. Also, as if, he's not busy enough, he's also church training director for his father's church, and also serves later on as the Sunday school secretary. So
what a kid.
Also, by the way, great grades and a member of several clubs in high standing. And he's literally, these two are ridiculous.
Honor Society, fucking Eagle Scout. This son of a bitch has outperformed me.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
One day of the week, he outperformed my entire high school fucking academic career. One day, this guy blew me away.
Until I was 30.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's done more than we've still done combined.
Yeah.
And he's only 19, this guy. So they had she's going to college there, and he lives kind of a little bit away, so they really value their weekends. During the week they can't really hang out. She's got school, he's got work,
so much shit to do.
School, it doesn't really work. So the weekends, that's like from the second school ends on Friday, and whenever he's not working, they are making all the time they can make for each other. And then on Sunday nights he will drive her back to school usually. So they stay together right up until the last minute of like a late Sunday night. He drives her back to school. Wow. So, yeah, they love each other. They're getting married. It's good stuff. So Martin, his boss, this Riddle guy who owns the gas station, he said that it was what they would usually do is Mark would pick up some food for them after his shift on Sunday, and then they would hang out. He'd pick up either some carry-out chicken or some hamburgers in Anniston.
The most American beautiful thing on earth.
Like teenagers do.
Cheeseburger and fuck. That sounds great.
He even said, quote, Mark loves those quarter pounders.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? They're wonderful. And they would drive to Germania Springs Park in Jacksonville.
Did you just say mania?
Germania, brother. I was waiting for you to pick it up. I said, you're Germania Springs Park. Pause. Another mania. It's Germania, brother. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to take your title, and I'm going to sprinkle you with kraut, brother. It's Germania, brother.
That is not a place where I would go fuck.
Which, by the way, I believe that is what Hitler was proposing changing the name of Germany was. Germania. I believe that was the proposed Nazi name for it. Germania sounds more exciting, doesn't it? Germania.
Drop the Y at IA.
Yeah, jeez. Man. It's got more snap to it, is what I'm getting at. A little zippier. So
they went to Germania Park?
It's Germania Springs Park in Jacksonville.
Okay. Gross.
No shit. They would set up, it's a nice park. I saw pictures of it. They would set up a nice picnic there. They'd eat their food. They'd talk.
Just a crazy amount of germs there.
Oh yeah, so it's Germania. They're having title matches there. What do you expect? You've heard of flea
gonorrhea fighting it out to the death.
Instead of a flea circus, it's a circus. It's a syphilis circus. It's very different. It's a little grosser.
Yeah.
So they would do that, and they would talk about, what are you going to do this week? This is what I'm going to do, and they didn't have. This was their last time to see each other for the weekend. So. They would do this. It was nearby. It's by Interstate 20, by the Interstate 20 interchange. So it's kind of near where it is. Now, that night in August or July, I'm sorry, Frank Riddle, who he owns the Riverside Gulf Station that Mark Martin works at, he said that Mark was about to take off. It was about 8:00. They were locking everything up. Mark was waiting for his fiancée, Donna, to pick him up. As he said, every week they would do this. Right. He'd get done with his shift. She'd pick him up. They'd go get food. They'd sit in the park, and then that was that. And then they'd go home. So anyway, Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Tucker had dropped Donna off at the station for like every week, and that's how they would do it. And then he would drive them out there, and so whatever. We're going to take you to the gas station, honey. Here you go. See you next week. So they get into his car after his shift. He recently bought it. He had some savings from working at the gas station. That's why he's working there to save up. He bought a car, and the drive is about 50 minutes to Jacksonville. So it's a
God damn it.
It's a trek, and like I said, they make it every week, but they get to talk and hang out and, spend some more time together. Why not? So they get to the park. They stop. They get some food and stuff like that. They get to the park at about 10 p.m. Okay. Germania, brother, 10 p.m. They get out of the car. There's a man sitting on a park bench nearby, like on the entrance to the park. There's always park benches kind of on the periphery of the park.
Yep.
Walks by him and says hello, and they lay out a blanket on the ground, and they sit there and they're hanging out and, doing their thing. They set everything down. They're about 20 yards away from where this guy's picnic table was, where our picnic bench where he was sitting there. Now, the lights on the tennis court were on, and they were, illuminating a lot of the park. In a dark area, those bright lights like that carry a long way. So you can kind of see, things decently. It's not pitch black out there. So they're sitting there for a minute hanging out. And while they're sitting on the blanket, they're approached by the man who was on the park bench. And he asked them if they have a cigarette. Very common request, especially in the 70s. Yep. You got to smoke. Obviously, because they're perfect, neither of them smoke.
No, I'm Mr. and this is Mrs. Alabama.
Yeah, we don't smoke. Are you kidding me? No. Top tier athletes, honor society. Yeah. She's the president of everything. No. We don't do that. So they don't smoke, and they say, "I'm sorry, we don't have a cigarette." Apologize. There, and they didn't see anybody else in the area of the park at all. Just them and him. Those are the only people there that they saw. So They said they didn't. At this point, he was within 3 or 4 feet of them when he asked for the cigarette. He came right up to them, which is weird. He should, you can shout, "Hey, you got a cigarette?" from 30 feet. You don't have to walk right up to people. That's creepy. Few minutes later, he returns back again, and this time he asks for a match, which if someone doesn't have a cigarette, I assume they probably don't have anything to light a cigarette either. That's just my assumption.
This food is already cooked. I have no fires to start.
There's nothing to start here. Again, he got within about 3 feet of them this time. Again, like right up on top of them. They said, "No, we don't have a match." I'm sorry about that. So about not even 5 minutes passes. So this is within 10 minutes now. This is the third time this guy's coming up to them now. Like, what the fuck with this guy? Super annoying. What a fucking dipshit. So this time he approaches them. He approaches from a different direction this time, too. It's not from the bench. This time there was a small footbridge in the park, and he was approaching from there. So he did a walk around and then approach from the back instead.
This guy's got a lot of talking to do.
He's just bored. It's like, yeah, get a life. What are you doing? So Donna notices him first coming, and she says, "Hey, what's up with this fucking guy
boy's
again?
Coming back.
What's he want? What can he want from? Does he want a piece of chicken? Like, what is he? A bite of my burger?
Does he want fucking rolling papers now?
You can eat the rest of those fries? Like, what is he doing here? Yeah,
I'm gonna try your shake.
What's he got going on?" So he walked up, and she said, everybody. He walked up real close to them, real close, got right up on them. This time he has a pistol in his hand. Mm-hmm. He's got a gun in his hand. He orders them to stand up. They were sitting down in the blanket at this point. Again, this is very Zodiac. Zodiac did this with people. Exactly same situation.
Give me your keys, yeah.
Well, he tells them to stand up. He holds the pistol right to Donna's head, right up to her head. And as he holds the pistol up to her head, he tells Mark Martin to take his clothes off. He says, "Get naked, motherfucker."
Yeah.
It's so you won't run away, he tells him. So, yeah, get naked so you won't run away, which the embarrassment of being nude is way less than the fear of being shot. I don't give a shit. I'll run away nude. I don't fucking care. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's better than having holes in me. So he did it. Martin did it. The guy's got a gun to his fiance's head, so he takes his clothes off. Then this man orders Donna to take her clothes off as well.
Oh, boy.
And she does because gun to her head. So
you do, yeah.
He then told Martin to move away and sit down on the blanket. Uh-huh. So Martin has to take a few steps away and sits down on the blanket. And then there is fucking poor Donna Tucker standing here naked in the park with this guy with a gun to her head. Right. So he then tells Donna to lie down on the blanket. Mm-hmm. At this moment, and he puts the pistol to her head and begins basically running his hands all over her, feeling her up, touching her everywhere, and just generally molesting this poor woman. So
scaring the fuck out of this woman.
One hand, gun to the head, other hand feeling her up. She starts crying, at that point, as a normal human would, and begins praying for the man. Actually, not for herself, for the man. Prays for him that he'll, figure himself out here and not need to fucking feel up teenagers and at gunpoint. Once she starts that, he takes the gun off of her and stops fondling her for a moment. So you think maybe she struck a hint of conscience in the guy or something. Maybe something clicked in his head and went, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" Oh no, not even close to that. He then moved over to Mark Martin, put the gun to his head, and began fondling him as well.
Weird.
He starts doing all sorts of shit to Mark now as well. So both of them, he's wanted to fucking molest them both, which is have we heard of this one before?
No.
I don't think I have.
I've never heard of that ever.
It's not on this show anyway. This is...
In any criminal case where there's a couple and the guy's holding people hostage, he's always there to fuck the girl or
Golden State Killer, tie the guy up, make the guy torture him by making him watch and doing shit like that.
He's on him.
Yeah, and I'm going in this case, I'm like, oh, I see where this is going, but no, I never saw this left turn happening.
Bizarre.
I mean, it's just a bizarre. Not to want to grab a guy's cock, I guess that's not bizarre, but it's bizarre to do it in this context. This is bizarre behavior when you put it all together. So she's fondling him. He said that Martin, he's right on him. Martin gets a good look at him right here. The man then takes his gun off of Mark and moves back over to Donna, puts the gun right to her head and starts fondling her a little bit more aggressively this time. Starts, being, we can all sure. infer what I'm saying here. So she then screamed again because she was horrified, obviously. She screamed and he hits her. This man gives her a really, really hard slap. Okay. It's at this point that Mark Martin stands up because it's out of reflex. You stand up. Yeah, he's had enough. He stands up. He's going to stand up for, a fondle, whatever. Maybe this will be over. Or he'll rob us or something. But now this is getting.
Doing now? You're
just hit
people.
You just hit my fiance after you fucking did other things to her. So he stands up. Mark does, and so does the assailant. He stands up as well. As Mark starts to walk toward the man starts to back away, even though he's got a pistol in his hand.
Right.
A lot of times people have pistols because they're afraid. This isn't everybody, but my grandfather had the saying. I asked him about people carrying guns when I was a kid because, you see it on TV and you think it's cool. And he said, 2 kinds of people carry guns around, criminals and pussies. And that was the last I ever heard of it. I don't know. You like to carry guns around. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying, but, this guy might not be the most physically imposing to begin with. If he opening salvos with his gun, that means that's his point of strength. Is what I'm getting.
Also,
at.
in New York, it's a different different
environment.
Well. Yeah.
Exactly. People here, there's animals and shit too. It's
People
a
carry
different
them
thing.
there for just in case something tries to eat them at night.
Yeah. He was an Italian guy who lived in New York his whole fucking life, so it was a different thing for him. So that's definitely regional and cultural as well. So he. Jesus Christ, man. This is crazy. So he's backing away. It's at this, but he's still there. He just took a couple steps back. Like he wasn't on top of her anymore, but he takes a couple steps back, still pointing the pistol.
Yeah.
This point, Mark Martin, this guy's ballsy, man. He steps between Donna and this man and told her that he said, you're not going to put another fucking hand on her. He says to her, to a guy pointing a gun at him. Right. He is nude, mind you.
Yeah. In that situation, though, if you do have the balls to step towards somebody holding the gun and they take a step backward, you're going to sense the weakness and you're going to, probably take a charge at him.
Plus, I think it's something of like, remember in the Richard Ramirez thing, Richard Ramirez shot that guy in the head and the guy kept coming at him and he fucking ran away. Richard
still
ran
holding a pistol and he
shot him again. He still didn't go down. He fucking ran away because that's what you do if you shot a guy. That's my best shot. I shot you with a gun twice in the head and it's not stopping you. So I don't think I can beat you. So I think it's one of those things of, it's just, he's not a very brave man. I don't think the guy doing this. So clearly, because otherwise he would have said, shut the fuck up and sit down or I'm going to fucking shoot you in the head, or he would have, kneecapped him or something.
Or just shot him, right.
Or just shot him. So at this point, Mark steps in between them and says, I'm not going to let you do this anymore. You're not going to fucking touch her anymore. You're not going to hit her. You're not going to touch her. So the man fires his pistol twice at Martin, shoots him fucking point blank, drops him.
Wow.
Falls unconscious right there. He then turns the gun to Donna and shoots her twice in the head.
Wow.
Unnecessary. She shot in the back of the head and in the left shoulder. She turned away from it to try to obviously protect herself. Mark, after only a few seconds, he regains consciousness. Mark, after being shot.
Shit.
He's a tough dude, man. And he could see from his vantage point on the ground and blood in his eyes and everything else. He can see the man fleeing from the park. Okay. So you can see the guy taking off. He didn't rob them. He didn't take anything. He just wanted to.
Just want to take dignity.
It's a power. It was a power thing. This is all power. Now, Jacksonville police officers, Thomas Fitch and Alan Hall, they arrive at the park between 12:30 and 12:45 a.m. Now, this is just they're doing rounds. Cops drive through the park, make sure kids aren't fucking around in there. That's all they're doing is rounds. This isn't even, no one has reported anything.
Nothing.
They're bleeding in the park right now, these two. Mark is conscious, bleeding. He can't move also, as we'll talk about. Yeah. He's naked. He can't move. He's got no movement of his legs at this moment in time.
Damn
and Donna is bleeding profusely here and she's unconscious and not responsive. So, and they're both nude. So this is a fucking scene to walk into. They see when they get to the park, a maroon Monte Carlo is in the parking lot with the keys in the ignition. Right. The lights on. The lights in the tennis courts automatically go out at midnight, so it's gotten dark since then, and it's all dark. They use their flashlights because there's a car there, and they're like, who's fucking around in the park? You know, they figure it's people making out, doing shit. They go in there, and they find from their flashlights, they see the form of 2 nude people on the ground, and they go, hey!
Yeah. Knock it off.
And then they see, oh shit, there's a lot of red in there. Those 2, wow, what's going on here? They get closer, they see holes in these people. Mark is conscious though still. Oh man, you'd want to pass out for that. Just god damn it. She was not conscious, Donna. The only light in the park was a mercury vapor light, which I don't know what that is. Is that one of those bug zappers?
Possible.
Mercury vapor light?
Vapor light?
I don't know what that is.
That sounds right. I mean, a vapor, it sounds like it's something that...
Vaporize something?
Yeah.
Or is it like those low... I don't know what the fuck those are. But either way, not a lot of light is the general thing here. Now, a detective arrives on the scene a little bit after that. I mean, quickly, they call right away. We need detectives, backup, whatever you got, send it here. Yeah. This isn't normal.
Also, paramedics would be nice.
Paramedics, very good. When the sheriff gets there, Donna Tucker's already in an ambulance, and Mark Martin's still on the ground. Wow. So they got to wait for the next one. Sorry, buddy. You're conscious, so that's in a triage, unconscious beats conscious, I guess, situation. Shit. So he said that Mark tells them that he saw the guy in the park beforehand. It's got to be the same guy. Has to be. Even, it is. And he said that he could identify him if he sees him. So I got that. I could identify him. He describes this man as white male, 5'10", 200 pounds, so chubby, rounded face, as you'd be if you're 5'10", 200 pounds, a little bit chubby. He is reportedly wearing... What do you think he's wearing, Jimmy?
A Leonard Skinner shirt.
He is wearing overalls, a red shirt, and a red baseball cap.
That sounds right.
There you go. That's the uniform.
That is the uniform.
That's the anthem. Throw your damn hands up, everybody. There it is.
He is wearing murder pants.
He's wearing murder pants and a red shirt, which is and a red hat. That's a murder outfit. Murder. Yeah. Prepared for murder. I won't have to even wash this. This won't show up on here. Excellent. And there's always shit all over overalls, so who cares? So they're finally, both victims are transferred to University Hospital in Birmingham. They think he left, there was no other car, so they think he left the area on foot there. They didn't know what the fuck. They got dogs from the Huntsville Police Department the next day. Huntsville's a goddamn hour and a half away from here. Got them there. They went to brought the dogs to the scene and went where they said Mark Martin said the guy, ran away. They picked up a trail. Actually, they picked up a scent. They followed it to a nearby creek and then lost it because he went through the creek, as people do. They picked it up again, though, and then lost it again at Roy Webb Road, which is adjacent to the park. So they got him coming out, but then it was too weak, the scent. Now, there was a woman living in a house on the Roy Webb Road. She said that she may have heard the gunshots fired that night. She said probably that. She said she heard 4 or 5 shots, possibly between 10:20 and 10:40 p.m.
Those are probably them, lady.
That's probably, unless there's a lot of gunshots going on in Germania State Park after hours. She said it was right about the time the late news was going off. So whenever people are watching TV, that's always helpful for times. You know what I mean? Oh, Johnny Carson was just coming on. Well, then it's 11:30. Great. We know what time it is.
TV guide. What time was that?
Yep. She said she heard screaming while the shots were being fired and that the screams stopped when the last shots were being fired. Gee, I don't know. Maybe call the police. What do you say?
How do you not?
You heard gunshots and screaming and said, I don't know. I mean, what is this? My grandmother living here? I mind my own business. I don't know. I don't get involved. You don't know what's no. That's
a bridge too far.
This is too much.
Clearly, somebody's being assaulted.
you go, not for nothing. And I'm not trying to complain. It would be like one of if you got, it's a little overcooked or something, you just cake it like that. Not trying to complain, but maybe you want to take a swing through the park. I just heard screaming and gunfire. I'm not saying anything happened, but it might have been fireworks and screams of joy. I'm not, I don't know. Could have been,
I said medium rare. This is closer to medium, but, what? We'll move along.
We'll go with it. How many times have we been out where I'm just like, nope, I'm fine. I'll eat it. I don't care. It's not getting better than this, I guess.
I've come to the conclusion that when it's fucked up, I'm not sending it back because I'd rather eat this shitty burger than this spitty burger.
Exactly.
This one's fine. I'll deal with it. It's on me. I ordered this, gave you an instruction. It's on me.
That one time, a few months ago, we did the virtual live show. We went out to dinner. And I ordered something I didn't want, and it came, and I took a bite, and I didn't like it at all, and I didn't want it. And
you just sat there, and she goes, "I'll take it off the meal." You go, "Nah, I'm fine."
I go, "No, I ordered it."
Me.
I knew I wasn't in the mood for it, and I ordered it. I'll pay for it. And I was like, "No, it's not the burger's fault. It was mine." I go, "Honestly, not your fault."
Then she walks away, and you go, "Even the fries suck."
They did. They really did. The fries were terrible, which really was sad. At least you could get fries.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah, that burger was weird. It was all overdone and fucking.
That's the worst. There's nothing worse than an overdone burger. Even at the fast food chains cook their burgers all the way through. You're never going to get a pink burger from there. But even those ones, when they're done way too done, it's fucking horrific.
It's not.
There's
don't want
nothing
that.
worse.
You don't want that. So. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. The most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Anyway, she hears the screams. She said the windows to her door, which were open, windows and doors were all open because she doesn't have air conditioning, and this is July in Alabama.
Oh, my God.
You open those windows, buddy. I say get a window.
She is living.
Grab a window unit. Let's all chip in on a window unit for this lady here. She said, I didn't think anything about it at the time because there's always some sort of commotion going on over there in the park. Gunshots and screaming? That's not commotion.
Always.
She said, I just thought it was the firecrackers with it being so soon after the 4th and all. It was 2 weeks after the 4th. What are you talking about? None of that makes sense.
Do you guys celebrate?
None of that makes any sense. It really doesn't. I don't. That just doesn't make sense.
Does the South do that like fucking New England does? Like New England celebrates the 4th of July for a fucking month.
The South
2 weeks before, 2 weeks after.
The South wasn't real into the 4th of July for a long time after. Like in Richmond, Virginia, I want to say they after the Civil War they stopped celebrating the 4th of July because that was the Confederate capital, right. And they didn't celebrate it again for over 100 years. I want to say. I think it was the 70s is the next time they had a 4th of July. That
doesn't feel, like
a sanctioned
bicentennial. Yeah.
Yeah, or like this late 60s, something like it was like 100 years later until they.
It doesn't sound bitter at all.
No, that's fine. It's not at all bitter. So she said she wasn't even aware of the shooting until the police arrived to question her. And then she was like, oh, that was a shooting, I guess. Yeah, I heard some gunshots. Thanks. That could have been helpful.
Gunshots, screaming, all kind of crazy shit. Would have never paired it together.
Now, the only other resident in the immediate area who heard or saw anything suspicious is a Mrs. Marvin Byron, who is a neighbor of the woman who heard the shots. She and an out-of-town visitor, were up late waiting for her husband, who works nights to, he gets like second shift, so they're waiting for him to get home. And then the visitor said thought she heard a car door slam really loud, but that might have been the gunshots. She thought it might have been her husband, but she looked at the clock and it was only 10:50 p.m. Mm-hmm. So she said that's earlier than her husband usually arrived home. So she checked the window and didn't see anything and just dismissed the whole thing until the police arrived to question her. She did say, however, the next day when the cops came, her 2 poodles were extremely nervous around the time the noise was heard. Okay. So nervous poodles, which she termed unusual. She said they were usually pretty calm and they were all kind of in a titter, which dogs would hear gunshots before you would. You know what I mean? As you know, fireworks and 4th of July, your dog will hear one 2 miles away and stand up and look around. She said that she had let them out for a while around 9:30, the dogs, and they were acting perfectly normal when they came back inside. But she said, quote, I remember them being jumpy around the time she heard the door slam. So she said she didn't hear any shouting or screaming. She said sounds usually carry very well throughout the area, so that was, she would have heard it probably. She said noises really boomerang through here for some reason. We can usually hear everything that's going on, especially on the tennis courts at night. So there's that. That's her story.
It's pretty awesome. You can almost jerk off to that.
To the sound of tennis courts.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. Like Vince McMahon watching the WBF championships.
Yeah.
It's getting hot. So
they're screaming love out there. It's awesome.
Yeah. So the police have no leads here. Mm-hmm. They got nothing. They got Ugats. They got a description of half the guys in Alabama.
Right.
They got a 5'10", slightly heavy-set white guy in overalls and a hat. That's all of them. Okay, that's half the guys.
60% of Alabama is now a suspect.
That's a tough one. It really is. So that'd be like going, you're in Brooklyn and you're like, I don't know, he had like dark hair, kind of a big nose. I don't know, he's like Italian, maybe Jewish or something. That's enough, right? You can get him on that. Had a tracksuit on, right?
No,
that's everybody. That's everybody for fucking 400 blocks around, you idiot. Thanks.
Carrying a slice, same guy.
Like a slice. He had kind of like a little bounce in his step kind of a guy. You know the guy. Yeah. Yeah, we know that. That's everybody.
Had a box that said Ray's Pizza on it. Think you can get him?
He looked just like you, as a matter of fact. And you too, other detective. You both look exactly like that as well.
Right.
It's a similar look. So I'm not making fun of the South. I'm just saying we all have our own...
we have our regional man.
We have the regional man, and that's your regional man. It's this guy running from a park. Never gonna catch the midnight rider. That's him. Never gonna catch me.
What a great song.
He's got one more silver dollar. So the police are out of ideas already, and they come up with reward, maybe reward. Rewards.
It's a last chance, I guess.
The state ponies up $5,000 in their way, and then $1,000 from Riddle, the gas station owner, who is Mark's boss. He puts up
his own money. Yeah.
He puts up 20% of what the entire state put up of his own. Yeah, which shows you that a lot there. And also Springville industrialist George T. Stafford, who was president of the manufacturing firm that employs Donna Tucker's father as an engineer. Her father's a smart guy, too. He also puts up $1,000 as well. So he sounds like he can afford more than that. If you're like, would the gas station guy put up? Double that. I'm the president of the manufacturing firm, and they describe me as an industrialist. That means I have more than $1,000 to put up here,
right?
For a dead employee's daughter, or employee's dead daughter. So, Jesus Christ. Anyway, the Jacksonville police unit, they just said, quote, "We want to talk to people who were in the area that night. We know there was a lot of people out there earlier playing ball, and whether they saw something or whether they think they didn't, we need to talk to them," obviously. So that was the 17th. The 22nd of July, Donna finally succumbs to her injuries, and she dies at the hospital. So that's fucking sad, man. She had a bright future. That is
fucking horrible. That's
terrible. That really is. The cause, this wasn't like somebody who was like arguing over meth or something. This was like, this is crazy. Cause of death was determined to be gunshots to the fucking head, obviously, but more specifically, damage to the central nervous system and hemorrhaging within the cranial cavity as a result of the gunshot wound, which entered the right top of the head and penetrated the right cerebral hemisphere of the brain. The autopsy surgeon removed 2 bullets from her head, and then obviously they were.
Are these
sent
small
off to the
caliber
lab.
bullets? Is that what he's doing?
They have to be. I think it's I think this is a 22. This one in particular. So yeah, that's going to bounce around and tear everything up if you get shot in the head with
brain damage and bleeding to
fuck your brain up.
Fuck, man.
That's brutal. She'd have been that close. She wouldn't have been better off getting shot with anything. That's just terrible. So there's no leads, but what does a small town have in abundance, Jimmy? Rumors, and gossip and bullshit and all that. Well, I heard that, her dad had a cocaine ring with and the Dominicans came and shot, shit. Not that that's a real theory, but I mean, people come up with crazy fucking theories. Sure. Immediately. The Calhoun County Sheriff Roy Sneed said there's absolutely, had to make a statement in the paper about the rumors, like, ignore that shit. He said there's absolutely no substance to the flurry of rumors spreading through Jacksonville that an arrest has been made in the shooting and sexual assault of the couple. He said, quote, "No arrest has been made. No arrest is going to be made unless we get a heck of a lot more than we've got right now." In other words, we ain't got shit. So arrest, fuck no. Not even close. We got
somebody's
nothing.
Already started the rumor that somebody's been caught?
Been caught and locked up. And so everyone's going, they caught the guy. And he's like, no, motherfuckers. Not only did we not catch him, we don't have a goddamn thing. So we're not even close to catching him. That's very honest from a sheriff. Usually you don't get that honest from that, law enforcement like that. But they need rumor. They need information. Yeah. So there was 2 widespread rumors circulating in Jacksonville and the surrounding hollers, I guess you could say. One concerning a Jacksonville resident who had been rumored to be positively identified by Mark Howard. Another centers on a person who is rumored to have molested a number of women and threatened their lives if they went to the police. But the sheriff said no basis for any of this at all. He says, quote, "Somebody's telling lies and starting rumors." Small town.
Is there a guy that's running around molesting folks? Does that guy even exist?
But they're saying that they're linking it together. This is just people, I heard this, and then what if it's that guy? And then the telephone of that goes to, they caught that guy. And this is why we do small town murder, because you don't get that in a big city. If someone's shot in Atlanta and killed, they don't sit there with there's all these rumors around. It's just, did they catch him? No, fuck, all right.
Or moreover to the point, like the people that are chasing down leads on this that are in reporting and such, they aren't interested in a rumor. They'd rather just wait for the police to give us some information.
Yeah. No shit.
Whereas here they're like, well, we'll solve it. We could do it.
So let's find out what they do have. Okay. They do have this. They have a truck that was seen parked near the intersection of Nisbet Lake Road and Roy Webb Road shortly before the shooting occurred. That's what they have. It is described here as a 1960 to 1965 model truck with a white grille and a white bumper, and they said it appeared to be hand painted red.
That truck today is still worth $40,000.
Yeah, hand painted red.
Some rattle can,
which sounds like the kind of car of guy in overalls and a red T-shirt and a red hat would drive. So
big fan of red.
He loves it, red and white. So the Alabama colors. That's what it is. So the vehicle is seen at about 10 p.m. by a couple who are traveling to Piedmont after attending a nearby rodeo. I'm surprised he wasn't there with his overalls. Why not? The truck reportedly is believed to be a Ford with a running board. And then police also said 2 witnesses that heard shots and screams also said they heard a door slam and a loud vehicle through the area. Remember that? Those 2 ladies? They didn't hear the gunshots. They heard a truck slam because that car was by their house. They said the truck was parked about a half mile from where the shooting occurred at the park. Quote, within easy walking or running distance from the scene of the crime. Jesus Christ. So obviously they're asking for any investigation. Anybody will pay you money. Anything. Just if you know that truck, if you've seen anything, they need anything at this point. The cop said that the shirt the assailant wearing the night of the shooting, quote, could have been bright plaid or similar, but there was red in it. That's what the guy remembers. The overalls, they said also, could be, they thought they were blue, but you never know. They could be a darker color or some shit like that, like a gray. They didn't know. So they do believe, though, this old red pickup might be, got to be in the area of this. It has to have something to do with it, is what they're saying. So they have Martin regained consciousness again at the hospital and started trying to help the police. He was conscious and he's with it. The police said that Martin had been shown more than 50 pictures so far of possible suspects, but none of them jogged his memory at all.
What a horrible thing.
He's sitting there feeling helpless. Oh, by the way, he's at this moment paralyzed.
Is that right?
He's paralyzed from the waist down right now, or chest down. So he's got no
people in the history of the world.
No movement in his legs, trying his ass off to help them find.
Jesus.
He's got to feel helpless. He can't even walk. No less help find who killed his fiance. That's bad, man.
And the incident that did this to him, he was doing his best to protect her from.
That's the other thing.
Outcome that happened to her.
Even that was honorable, right.
Like
it's fucking nuts.
Stunning.
So the police and other investigative agencies are trying to link the crime with a number of other similar assaults in the past 6 months, but they're not exactly the same. In one, a man was assaulted and a woman raped at gunpoint by a man behind a Jacksonville service station, but the guy didn't sexually assault the man as well. He just hit the man and then assaulted the woman. That was more like get him out of the way, rape her. So they're like, that doesn't sound like the same thing.
It's so dangerous.
College towns it's rape city. I mean, it's Jesus Christ. It's a bunch of fucking boozed up kids with too much testosterone and also too people who are into that. I'm not even talking about date rapes too. People who are predators come to an area like this because it's transient. There's people around, young people moving about late at night. There's a lot of targets for people here.
Fuck, man.
So it's gross how people have to. Fuck, man. So in another incident, a man assaulted a couple parked in a parked car at JC Park in North Anniston in March, but there wasn't like a shooting there. He attacked them in a different way. So they're up to $13,000 in reward money at this moment. The sheriff, Roy Sneed, Calhoun County Sheriff Roy Sneed, he said he had a talk with Martin, who is now paralyzed from the neck down. I'm sorry. He's a paraplegic, this poor man.
He can't move.
He can't move. I thought it was his chest. Oh, my God, that's horrible. He said that Martin helped him eliminate, quote, some people we didn't have eliminated as suspects. So people that thought might have, whatever. He said, we're checking and rechecking all our leads and looking into some new ones. We're hoping that sooner or later we'll get a break. And obviously He said, any information we receive will be kept in the strictest confidence. If we can get some people to talk to us and put some descriptions together, we'll be making some progress. He said they've questioned 50 to 75 people, people who have had connections with shootings, sex offenders that they could find, or any sex offender in the area. They're asking her to get an alibi. You know, if you're a sex offender, you pretty much always have to have you document where you are at all times, because if there's a rape in the area, they come knocking at your door first. You weren't out here, were you?
Would you like a receipt? You're fucking right. I'll love receipts.
You better.
I'm a terrible person.
I am awful, but you know what? I'm a monster. You better give me a receipt. Yeah. No, I diddled a girl pretty bad, so you better. Yeah, you better.
It's been years, but look.
Hold on. Is that a camera up there in the corner? Let me wave it that quick. There you go. Just want to.
Is that real or one of those dummies?
It's not a dummy, is it? Take a picture of me with your phone, would you?
The other bummer is like in the South where like this is a uniform, you know what I mean, what he's wearing.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a very distinct face, this is a problem. That Brian Laundrie kid, do you know how many people were fucking
being pointed out
and just harassed because they look exactly like that fucking
because he's just not a very
Yeah.
It's true.
Like,
how many people constantly post pictures of people that say look like you? It's all the time. Like this looks like Jimmie Whisman.
I'm tagged in so much shit because of that fucking facial recognition software. That's not
terrible.
me. One of you bastards commits a crime, I'll fucking find you. I will find you just to beat the shit out of you. I won't even turn you in.
Yeah. With me, it's a little more, it's easier. I'm a little more, I'm in the range of height that's different, like a couple of scars on my eyebrows that are distinctive, so you're going to know it's me or not coming at you.
The benefit of this face is that I blend into any crowd.
That's true.
The drawback is that if somebody that has this face fucks up, I do not blend in any longer.
You just have to go, how many fingers did they have? How many fingers? Not 10, right? I bet it was 10, wasn't it? Oh, Christ. So they're checking all these alibis. The sheriff said, quote, but what we've got now isn't worth 2 cents unless we can get these people to come out and tell us what they know, whether they think it's important or not. So they reiterate it. New rewards coming in. People are putting up even more rewards now. Trying to
Jackie Mason from The Jerk and Jackie Mason from Caddyshack 2.
Just them. Just them. Rodney and Jackie Mason. Putting money in. The industrialist who we spoke of earlier who put up $1,000, he said, it's a horrible, horrible thing. This man has got to be stopped before something like this happens again. Right. He's an industrialist, wealthy, and I figure that's how he speaks. Even though he's from...
I must take my tea.
I must take my tea now. Bring the car around front. Like, this is Calhoun County, you know. I'm an industrialist. This is how we all talk.
Jefferson, bring my things.
Jefferson, my brandy. So they also said that they needed to talk with anyone with knowledge of an incident that happened 2 months earlier near Turley's Trailer Park in North Anniston as well, because they think that might be connected. They said apparently a man with a gun there approached a car but was spotted by an Anniston police officer. The officer apparently shot into the ground or something when he saw the guy with the gun. He fired off a warning shot. Hey, pow! Jesus Christ. Wow.
Excuse me, sir. Bang.
Oh, what? Shit. What's up? Excuse me, Mr. Earp. What are we talking about here? Jesus Christ, man. But the guy didn't shoot anybody, so, I mean.
That's not a way to get anybody to talk to you. We're all running no matter we did anything or not.
Yeah, no shit. Well, then the couple in the car drove away when the shooting started. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. People are firing shots. Get out of here. And then the gunman ran away, too. And so they didn't even talk to the couple. They said, we either need to talk to that couple or anyone else who was at the scene that day. He said investigators wanted to get a description of the gunman, obviously. This whole thing is terrible. Frank Riddle, the owner of the gas station here, he said it's just hard on him. He said, quote, this is insane. He said that his son, Jeff, he said he was watching him when he was talking to the reporter. He's watching his son, Jeff, pump somebody's gas. And he said, quote, my oldest boy drowned near here about 2 years ago, and that didn't affect Jeff near as much as this has. As far as he was concerned, Mark was the tops. She was, too. They were just a fine couple.
Christ, Mr. Riddle.
So young Jeff is sadder about Mark being paralyzed than his own brother dying by drowning. He's still alive, but this is sadder.
Yeah.
But Mark was just so good. My brother's a piece of shit. He sucked. He had no future, man. Oh, that's sad. So I don't mean that, Frank Riddle. I apologize. So Officer W.E. Trailer. I can't make that up, obviously. It's with a Y, but it's T-R-A, Trey, L-O-R. But still, it's Trailer. Yeah, it's Trailer. We Trailer. So Officer Double Wide here.
Yeah.
He's an investigator with the Alabama Bureau of Investigation, and he is one of the officers assigned to investigate the shooting at the park. Okay? So July 22nd, this is the day Donna dies. Okay? Trailer here, Mr. Doublewide, goes into the Pick and Pay shoe store.
Yeah.
Okay. About 1 p.m., not investigating anything. No. This is no police work here. He's literally there to buy a pair of shoes. He's there because he needs a cheap pair of shoes.
Heading on down to Pick and Pay. And
yeah.
Comes across a lead.
I wonder if it's for the funeral, because that's the day that she died. I wonder if he needed to go grab
blacks. Yeah.
some pair of dress shoes or something.
Yeah.
So he goes to the Pick and Pay about 1 p.m. to look for some shoes. The guy managing and the store and selling shoes at that moment is a guy named John Ellis Sparks. He's 22 years old. Johnny Sparks, he goes by. Trailer had known Sparks for a couple of years here. He had met him actually when he had investigated another crime, and he had asked if he had heard anything from his wherever the fuck he lives. So he had ran into him then, and he knew him. Small place, people run into each other. So he's known him. So he's like, "Oh yeah, hey, how you doing? How you doing?" They exchange pleasantries. You got a 12, this and a 12. Sure, here we go. Now Trailer's in the shoe store. Ellis, Johnny Sparks, walks up to him here and starts up a conversation about the Germania Springs Park shooting. He's like, what are you doing? You investigating that? He said, yeah, I am. He goes, oh, yeah, that's crazy. He goes, I was in the park that night.
Oh, boy.
So Trailer's
Johnny.
like, pardon now? Puts his shoes down for a second. What was that again? You were fucking at the park that night? He said, yeah, I was there. I was playing tennis with Amanda Dennis that night. And he said that, I was just playing tennis. So I didn't hear anything or see anything, but I was there that evening. And so the cop says, okay, well, I need to talk with you some more about that. And, the store was getting kind of busy. So he said, I'll come back some other time, like in between an off hour, and we'll maybe see if you saw anything or heard anything weird.
Like as soon as this shift ends.
Yeah. Well, no, not a real urgency here to this. He goes, I'll come back another time. He does come back 3 hours later, though. He comes back at 4 o'clock. He returns to the store with another Deputy Larry Amerson, and they took a photograph of Johnny Sparks just to show to Mark Martin. And, you never know. You got to eliminate everybody. He's not a suspect or anything like that, but they take his photograph, and, they tell him we're taking photographs of anybody who was in or around the park that night. They said we've got 200 photographs taken here, so it's just part of the routine. Sparks says that, no big deal. He tells a friend of his, I guess I'm one of 200 faces here. They took my picture for this thing, and, whatever. They brought him in. They talked to him. And nothing came out of it, just inconclusive. He said, I was playing tennis, and that was it. Didn't hear anything. I left before 10:30, so maybe that's why. He did give the officers a detailed account of his night on July 17th, 77. He says he picked up Amanda Dennis at 7:15. They arrived at the tennis courts at 7:30. They left the tennis courts at about 9 p.m., so well before the shooting.
Right.
He said they went to Cianello's Pizza. It's a place in Jacksonville. They arrived about 9:15. They left Cianello's at about 10 o'clock, and he took Amanda Dennis back to her car, which was a burnt orange colored Monte Carlo. Remember that? Yeah. Remember that car? Yeah. She had left her car. She had left her car at Pritchett's Jean Place in Jacksonville, where they played while they played tennis. So it wasn't wasn't there. So he then said that he left Jacksonville at about 10:15 and went home 15 minutes before they even said they got to the park. So he told Detective Doublewide here that he was driving a light blue Mercury, and he said that he left the tennis courts. And he said as he left the tennis courts, he said some boys were still playing, and he said he thought they were driving a small white car. And he also said he thought that he backed into that car as he was leaving. He said, I might have hit that small white car, as a matter of fact. There was 2 cars there. There's nobody fucking there.
How do you hit the only other car in the parking lot?
How do you do that? Now they said, well, what were you wearing that night? And he said, cut off blue jeans, obviously tennis attire. That's what I always see It's Roger Federer dominating for years wearing cut off blue jeans. That's what you wear,
Not
right?
Even cut off sweatpants.
Cut off blue jeans. I just put my cutoffs on, and we played 4-5 sets. Venus and Serena Williams are famous for their Grand Slams wearing cut-off blue jeans. It's very famous. And
I didn't even bring my tennis racket. I was just hitting it with a fiddle.
just with a fiddle. It was all right. And he said an off-white shirt, which I assume was white at some point.
It was. Washed it with those jeans a couple times.
I got new jeans. I'll throw it all in together. Amanda Dennis, the woman he says he was with, had on a pair of cut-off blue jeans as well and a loose type T-shirt. Jesus Christ, that's the official tennis.
I want to see a gym in Alabama.
That's what I'm saying. Hoity-toity areas, you see country club guys in the small white shorts with the white.
Loads of Lululemon on the ladies.
Yeah, like the guy Henry Hill beat up in Goodfellas across the street from her, dressed like that, not cut-off blue jeans and a white T-shirt. Oh man, I had work boots and tennis gear. So
those velour corduroy shorts from the 70s. I can see that. But this shit is hilarious.
It's fucking crazy. One interesting thing here: he is in the process of a divorce, and as a matter of fact, his divorce was in the final days that week. And his divorce was final on July 22nd, which is the same day Donna died. Yeah, right. So they had signed paperwork. Everything was final. So within a couple weeks of this, doesn't check out this guy's story right away because it's just a throwaway story. So then within a couple weeks, he tries to check the story out. So he talks to Ms. Amanda Dennis, who is a school teacher. She said she met Johnny Sparks on the Friday before the shooting happened on a Sunday night. She met him that Friday. They met in a restaurant in Anniston. They talked for about 45 minutes to an hour. He called her Saturday morning and again on Sunday around 1 or 1:30. When he first called her Sunday, he mentioned going out Sunday night. She told him she wasn't sure whether she would be at home and to call her later in the day. So she told him she was going to play tennis, but she was unable to find a partner and went to her mother's house instead. That's what she says. So she wanted to play tennis. She didn't even play tennis. No. So apparently Johnny Sparks called Dennis's apartment number a bunch of times, called the phone a bunch of times, approximately, judging by the phone records, every 20 minutes.
Wow.
He spoke to Ms. Linda McCullough, who is the roommate, is Amanda's roommate. Mm-hmm. He also called Amanda Dennis's mother's home at about 8:30.
Take it easy. You met me 40 hours ago. This is mad strong, sir.
This is crazy. My divorce is going through. I'm nuts type of shit here. I need to get something under me. But he didn't get to talk to her. When she returned to her apartment about 10:50 Sunday night, the phone was currently ringing at that moment. She answered the call and recognized his voice as it being, Johnny Sparks. They talked for about 30 minutes. So he must be a good bullshitter, though. He's got to be a good conversationalist.
Or he's just one of those people that just bullies you into a conversation and they won't shut up.
But at some point she'd be like, anyway, at some point.
My uncle used to be famous for that. We'd be leaving his house and we'd be in the car and he'd be leaning in the driver's window.
Well, anyway, you're backing up the gravel sounds under the tires.
And he's just walking alongside the car.
He hops on the hood as you're pulling out. Hey, one more thing. Wait, don't take that left so fast. Oh, fuck. What the shit?
He's just, man.
So she said that she talked to him for about 30 minutes. His voice seemed calm. She said, though, that she did not, in fact, play tennis with him, nor was she with him Sunday night. So, why would you say you're there and then make up this whole thing about this whole story that you didn't have? You could have just sold him some shoes.
Yeah.
This is that thing. They have to insert themselves. They have to find out. It's that thing.
Is he one of those guys, though, James, that's getting divorced and just needs some excitement in his life? This could be phony, too.
Well, that's what I mean. We'll have to find out. So Terry Powell, who is another Pick and Pay worker here, she said that she worked the Pick and Pay shoe store with him on July 18th, which is the day after the shooting. She had a conversation with him at the store. He told her that he was at Germania Springs the night before, quote, where those people were shot.
Yikes.
He said that he was playing tennis with a married woman, and he didn't tell her the name of the woman. As far as I know, Amanda Dennis isn't married either, so he's just a liar. He just lies to everybody. Now, Norma Barton, who's a Pick and Pay customer, she says that she knew Johnny Sparks at the Pick and Pay store where he was employed. She was a customer. How often are you going to the Pick and Pay? Jesus Christ. He called her almost daily the 3 weeks after she met him.
What a weird guy.
So he calls people just constantly. This was before the shooting at Germania Park. He asked her to go out with him, but she never went on a date with him. Now, the week after the shooting, he called her on the phone, and she said she recognized his voice and knew it was him and everything. He brought up the subject of the shooting again and stated to her that he, quote, didn't go anyplace anymore because he was afraid the police would pick him up, and they had questioned him about the tennis courts. So she told him, he told her that he had been playing tennis that night with some of his friends, which is another lie. Right. She told him, apparently, if you didn't do it, you don't have anything to worry about. So what do you care? And he said, but you never can tell. That's what he said. Then later on in the same conversation, he said, quote, you're lucky you didn't go out with me. And she said, why's that? And he said, well, because they came out and questioned me, and I'm an alleged sex murderer now. So no one wants to go out with an alleged sex murderer, right? That's not good.
That is a fascinating owning of a title.
Well, I'm an alleged sex murderer now, so there's that. Yeah. I'm going to put it out on my mailbox in case anybody
sex murderer.
Don't want my stuff getting mixed up with anybody else's. Sex murderer right here. So, Jesus Christ. Well, I'm a sex murderer, I suppose. So, obviously, his story didn't check out, clearly. August 3rd, old Double Wide there, talked to Johnny Sparks on the phone and told him that his story didn't check out. This is not normal homicide investigation to talk to a potential suspect on the phone. We was talking, your story ain't working out. You want to look into their eyes and see what how they react. And
hey there, Johnny. Can you just clear some things up because your story doesn't make sense, and we're just trying to eliminate you. Can you help us eliminate you?
How many over the phone confessions are there? You know what I mean? Right. We watch the confessions, interrogations on like YouTube and shit. No, it never happens. They just have a speaker. I think I'll say this. This will get him, and then he goes, "Oh, all right, I did it." That never happened before.
Right. They don't pick up the phone and go, "It didn't check out." You're right. You got me.
Yeah, you got it. But Double Wide said that he was, quote, not all that much of a suspect at the moment. How, I don't know. He said he was there and lied about everything else, so who knows? We just could be looking for attention, like you said. He said that he talked to, just as Double Wide, talked to Johnny Sparks in person 25 or 30 times.
Wow.
25 or 30. That's not how you, again, not how you investigate. You want to load everything up for one big shot. You know what I mean? You don't. Once a guy's been in there
30 times. I had 25, 30 questions. Just figured I'd give him a break in between them.
Yes.
Pretty heavy questions like, do you murder people?
Well, you get everything beforehand, then you bring them in and lay it all on them. And they just, you don't do that. You just don't. They always say.
Understand, James, when you say to somebody, I think you're a sex murderer, you should give them a break to process that.
They need a minute. But they always say, if you think you guy's a suspect and you've talked to him twice, that's it already. You blew it. They're not confessing now. Because if you've had them in there twice and they walked out twice and they know they killed somebody and yet they sat in a police station, were asked questions about it and allowed to leave twice, they're not afraid of you anymore. Right. They're not going to confess. They're not scared of the situation. They think they control it now. Right. So doing this is making him think he's a genius and they're morons.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So he also said that he talked to him on the telephone at least 3 times. You know, those telephone homicide interrogations. He said that he told him on the phone he needed to clear some things up, and he needed to see him to do that. They agreed to meet at 8 o'clock that night, on August 3rd. Double-wide, quote, couldn't keep his appointment that night. He's busy. Got other shit going on.
The wife has some shit.
Again.
This week's going to be busy. I'm not going to get laid this week, so
the other thing
ask you tomorrow.
Jesus Christ. Wow. The other thing that is like the number one rule of when they bring people in to interrogate them is that I'm blown away by this, is that you want them to think that the entire breadth of law enforcement is doing nothing but working this case. Right. It's gonna crack. It's gonna fall. There's lab guys, and we have people that are been retired for 10 years that are coming in working for free just to crack the case. Like that's
that guy
what you want.
Yokohama Tires looking at these tire impressions.
Yes.
You're gonna get this guy.
Remember Russell Williams, the colonel and the Canadian Air Force colonel guy with the interrogation? It was a Sunday, and he told them, there's 70 guys out there working on this right now. There wasn't 70 guys on a Sunday working on this right now, but he had to make them think this is all we do 24 hours a day. There's a shift in here doing nothing but fucking working on this case. Because it makes them think they know they're fucked then and serious. So he couldn't make it that day. Matter of fact, he postpones it. What do you think, a day? 2 days,
weeks.
Catch up with you over the weekend. 2 entire weeks, 14 days. 14 days he delays this fucking meeting.
Well, Thursday my kids got softball. Maybe Friday. Oh, it's the anniversary. Let's tell you what. We'll circle back. Give you a little rest. Holler back around 2 weeks.
No
Fortnight.
Shit. I feel like if Mark Martin knew about this, he would have fucking risen from his bed and ran over and punched this guy in the mouth, paralyzed or not. Are you fucking stupid? Talk to him. So that date comes along. They make, the 17th, I'll talk to you. That date, he double wide goes, and he can't find him now. Now he can't find him.
Yeah.
He goes to the store, and he's told that he's been transferred to another store in Lynette, Alabama. So he turns up there, and he's looking for him. Then he hears that he's not working there now, and he's also got another job at a Big K department store in Lynette. And I guess he'd been managing the Pick and Pay for a while there, and then he ended up going to this Big K, and he didn't show up there either. So he's not there.
On the run.
He's in the wind at this point. Never gonna catch the midnight rider. Yeah. He's on the fucking run.
In the South, they call it in the twister.
He's in the wind. So, and in Italian, we call it on the lamb. So there you go. He's on the lamb or in a twister. He was staying, at the time, staying in a motel in Lanett. So the double wide went to his motel room. He's gone. He left not only without most of his belongings, but also without paying his bill. He just left his shit and ran.
This doesn't look guilty at all.
Catch the midnight rider. Everything he does. Every move. So it's at this point he goes back to the office and he receives, double wide does, a telephone call from who?
Stop this.
Not him.
Oh.
Not Johnny Sparks. Johnny Sparks' dad calls him.
Yeah.
Okay? To tell him that my boy's missing. I can't find him. Will you help me find my boy? This
Tell
is
you
like,
what.
Sir, Mr. Laundry, no problem. Where do you think he might be hiding? Yeah. Wow. This is fucking crazy. So tells him that he's missing. So then double wide's like, I know that's stupid. I've been looking for him. Mm-hmm. He goes back to the state trooper station in Oxford. So where the fuck did he go? Where is he?
I don't know, a swamp preserve in Florida.
No. Well, that same day, trailers at the office going, well, this son of a bitch gave me the slip. His dad might be in on it. What the hell's going on? 3:30 p.m. the phone rings. You know who it is? It's Johnny Sparks. It's him on the line.
I now don't have a single silver dollar.
No, I spent it on this call because it's a long distance. Because where is he? Utah. Utah. He's where everybody is and they are missing, on a bus headed through Utah.
Wow.
He took a bus to Utah. He's got one more silver dollar. So Takes a bus to Utah.
That shit on loop on the PA system.
Just that guitar. Just the riff.
For 2,000 miles.
And he nodded his head for 2,000 miles. Yeah, bopping that shit. So he's riding a bus towards Salt Lake City when he makes the call here. The call is originated from Heber City, Utah, 45 miles east of Salt Lake City. He says, and I quote, "This is Johnny Sparks. I'm the one y'all want for that shooting in the Springs in Jacksonville." Okay, so this is double wides on the phone. Like, yeah, I know. What are we being formal now? I've talked to you 50 times, and we have a date that you blew. He says, quote, "Wait, Johnny, you have the right to remain silent, and you don't have to answer any questions at all. You're entitled to an attorney." They're doing an over-the-phone 2,000-mile away homicide fucking interrogation. No! What the fuck?
I've been trying to adhere to the Constitution, and I also don't want to exhaust you. So
yeah, this is fucking crazy. He's over the phone. Wait, hold on. I got to read you your rights. Oh, wait a second. There's a troop of Girl Scouts coming. They're very loud. I got to hold on a minute over the phone. So Johnny Sparks says, "Yes, I know all of that, but I got to get this off my chest," he says. So he then goes on to say, "I'm the one who shot those people in the park. It was me." Yeah. He said, "I didn't mean to shoot those people in the park. And I don't know what the fuck else you shot. Right. You fired off 6 rounds. You emptied your fucking gun. What are you talking about? Clearly it was intentional." He said, and that the whole thing was about to drive him crazy, and he had to get it off his chest. So Double Wide told him that, "Hey, your parents are worried about you. You just took off." And he's then this is unbelievable fucking police work here.
Yeah.
He says, "Listen, they're all worried about you." He says, "You want to just come back on your own, or you want us to come get you?"
Yeah.
He just admitted to murder. You're going to let him fucking come back on it? "Yeah, I'll be there in a few days." What are you talking about? Go there. Are you fucking... what? I can't even speak right now. My mind is blown. You want to come back on your own? We'll just wait for you. You get on a bus. We'll see you in 4 or 5 days. What are you, fucking nuts? I've never heard of this before. This is no. Jesus. Pick him up. What are you doing? He just admitted to it. He's not even a suspect. He's fucking admitted to it. So... he said that, "Will you call my parents and tell them I'm okay, first of all?" And then he says, "Also, don't tell them I was involved in the shooting, though. Leave that part out." He's like, "Just tell them I'm okay. Don't tell them I told you none of that." Then he says, "I don't have enough money to return on my own." He said, "So could you pick me up maybe out here? I got one more silver dollar."
I'm going to let him catch the Midnight Rider.
I'm going to have to. I mean, I'm asking him, can you come pick up the Midnight Rider? The Midnight Rider's stranded at the Greyhound.
The Midnight Rider. I'm going to change my name to the Greyhound Rider and allow you to come stop me.
I'm going to say, "Sitting in the Greyhound station." Fucking terrible. I'm never going to catch the Greyhound Rider. So here he is, the Greyhound Rider. He says, Jesus Christ. So Trailer asks him, Double Wide, I'm calling him Double Wide. He's lost all my respect at this point.
He's an idiot, is what
he's an idiot. He asked if he would like for him to call the police. "Would you like me to call the police there and see if they'll come pick you up and give you a place to stay till I can come grab you?" Right. Like arrest you and put you in a fucking jail because you just admitted to homicide? What the fuck are we doing here? This is the most casual thing ever. How can you get back? "I don't know. I'll hitchhike." "Yeah, no problem. We'll see you when you get here." So he said that he's in a bus station and the phone number is 532-8825, and that he said he'll stay there while Double Wide checked with the Salt Lake City cops and see if they want to do a pickup for him here and, put him up in a 5-star hotel, I assume. So he keeps talking, does Sparks, and he states that he said, "I tried to give you a hint when we talked in the shoe store." So Trailer Double Wide said, yes, I figured that because of the 3 pages that you told me about, which was referencing his interview pages, that he was particular ones. He said, you told me about 2 of them were lies, and because he made up a whole story. And he said, Sparks said, yes, I figured you would get the hint that I was lying, and I figured you'd catch me eventually here. So Double Wide called Salt Lake City police and arranged to pick him up as he had requested. So Salt Lake City police officers are dispatched to the bus station to look for him. An Alabama suspect is what they're told. Obviously, overalls and red hat is what you're looking for here.
Overalls or cutoffs, one of the two.
Could be cutoffs. It's August. So he asked to be picked up. Remember this, okay? So when Sparks sees the officers outside the building, he freaks out, runs downstairs into the bus station's basement where there's a pizza place down there.
Yeah.
Pulls a knife out and holds it to one of the employees' throats and holds him hostage.
Holy shit, man.
Harold Holsite is this poor guy making pizza or selling pizza. Next thing you know, he's got a knife to his throat and he's going, don't fucking move, I'll cut his head off and shit. He's screaming at everybody that'll kill this guy. And he's like, what the fuck?
We thought you needed a ride, man.
Yeah, I don't think he was going to come back on his own. What do you think? Jesus Christ. So he holds him hostage for 30 minutes at knife point.
Wow.
Knife to his throat. He said that, Jesus Christ, that's fucking nuts. This was at the Der Ratskeller Pizza Shop, where he is the cook, Harold Holstoy, was
called
quote
the Rat Cellar?
Der Ratskeller.
Yeah,
Skeller, S-K.
That is the Rat Cellar in German or some
it's
shit.
it's under a fucking basement. It's under a bus station.
Go down there and get pizza.
Yeah, anything in
delicious.
anything in the basement of a bus station is not going to be edible. You shouldn't eat it. Don't eat the meat because it's
rat in the name of it.
No good. This guy who was taken at knife point, he said this man just came in with a knife. He was scared and confused and said he didn't want to go back. He said he didn't want to kill anyone anymore, which is scary while someone has a knife to your neck. Yeah. I don't want to kill anymore. You've killed before? He said, I talked to him and tried to cool him down. He said that Sparks ended up forcing Holstoy up the stairs and tried to leave the building with him at knife point. He was going to try to get away, but then he saw the policeman and he went back down. Wow. At that point, Sparks screams, "Everybody out!" to the 6 employees and customers that are there. Everybody out, quote, "I've got a hostage."
Yeah, we see.
This is a problem. This is ridiculous. So he tells the police shortly afterwards, he's going to say, Sparks told, he said that afterwards, Holstoy said that he told him that he had talked to the police and that he wanted an unarmed policeman to take Holstoy's place. Mm-hmm. He said, leave your gun, and if you want me to let him go, that's fine, but I got to hold a knife to one of your throats then. Right. Which they generally don't do a quick, knife hostage exchange. You slip out, I'll slip in. That's not the usual here. So he said that the cops said, no, we're not doing that. And they had their guns on him. So then at that point, he just gave up.
Yeah.
That's all. So Holstoy said, I don't know whether it was me or whether he was just scared. Maybe I talked him down or whatever. Holstoy said that Sparks told him, quote, okay, we'll take our chances. If they shoot me, I'm taking you with me. Again, not what you want to hear. So then they got to the top of the stairs again, saying they're going to leave, and that's when he just gave up. He released Holstoy and said, quote, I want to give up, which could mean he doesn't want to give up, and he could turn around and run at any moment with this guy. You never know with this guy.
So much. What the fuck?
Yeah, so he finally threw down the knife, and the police pinned him against the wall. No other weapons or anything like that. So he then said later on, I grabbed the person and pulled him around between me and the police officer who came about halfway down the stairs. He denied that he had a knife at the time when they first questioned him, and then later on he goes, okay, yeah, I had a knife. Why else would you not just bum rush me and tackle me?
Right. You mean the cops saw it and they were going to testify to that? Yeah, I had one.
Yeah, I had a knife, I guess, since everyone saw it, even including the people that I yelled to get out because I have a hostage.
Right.
He it was testified later that he said, quote, "Everybody out or else I'm going to hurt this guy." And then he was saying to Holsite, quote, "I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt anybody anymore." He kept saying that over and over again here. And so he's sitting in Utah jail. They put him in an isolated cell and they keep him under 24-hour surveillance. And they said that, they're going to give him a high. But right now he's just being held for like $50,000 on kidnapping charges. So now reactions, friends of him and his dad are so surprised. They can't believe it. They can't believe it. His dad said one neighbor visited the Sparks home and just broke down. He said he was crying, saying he couldn't believe it. He couldn't even talk about it. He broke down. He just couldn't believe it, as quoted in the paper. So all this, by the way, Mark Martin's in rehab at this point, still for months of October 77. He's still in rehab, still in the hospiel.
Trying to figure out how to live a life now.
Yep, he said about the place he's in here. He said that, what's the name of the place here? I can't find it. Either way, he said that this place has taught me a lot. It's unbelievable what they do here to help you improve, to help you feel better about yourself. He said they work hard here. He said, I had some return of feeling in my arms, and I've been working in occupational therapy trying to take advantage of that.
That's terrific.
That's awesome. He does therapy 2 hours each morning, 2 hours each afternoon. They work on the principle that as long as the patient's being helped, he stays. So they keep him there. He said the doctors are on the level here. You can count on what they tell you to be the truth. They're not going to tell you anything just to make you feel better. They tell you what they think. So at this point also, he's learning how to operate his new electric wheelchair, which was $2,700 in 1977, which is a lot of fuck. That's what a car costs then. That's a lot. It's designed specifically for Mark so he can operate it by turning his head in different directions.
Jesus.
That's all he can do. He said he's anxious to master the wheelchair. He said, quote, "I'm planning on going to school next fall. Most of the school buildings here have ramps and are equipped for wheelchairs, so I think I can do it."
It's going to be so fun.
Dude, this kid's amazing. I'd be like, I'm going to be sitting in my basement fucking hoping for I don't know.
I've learned to operate a pencil with my teeth because I'm the greatest human being on earth somehow.
Fuck. He said, the doctors think it's good that I want to go to school. They said they see no reason why I can't continue to improve. He said that he says he wants to go into coaching now since he can't play sports.
Yeah.
Said something I've always wanted to do. When I was in high school, there was a teacher, Bill Tucker, who was the captain of the Auburn football team in the late 40s. After he got out of college, he was stricken with polio, but he kept going and taught and coached from a wheelchair. I always admired him, and I guess I would have to say he's been my main inspiration as far as helping me to realize that I can do it too. This fucking guy is amazing.
I wish I had half that.
His family is building a new house that's designed with him in mind that has ramps and rails and special furniture and everything like that.
Wow.
His reverend, this is his dad, he said that Mark coming home is going to be a big step for him. He's shielded and protected here, but going home is going to be a terrific test of his character. It will be very easy for him to get down and depressed. But Mark is a strong boy, and he always has been. He's never been sick, never complained, never been in trouble, and somehow he's going to whip this. I know he will because he wants it so badly. And then Mark goes on to say how wonderful people have been to him. He said, I'm not looking for any sympathy. I'm just thankful that anybody cares. And he also said his medical expenses are pushing $100,000 at this point, which is like $2 million now. Yeah, it's millions. He said that once it's all done, though, they told him it'll be probably 3 times that is what his medical bills will be. He said, but that's not the important thing. We have insurance, and I honestly don't know how it stands right now. But his father says, we still have Mark, and he's strong, so you'll hear from Mark someday. And they asked him, are you bitter?
Yeah.
My answer would be, yes, motherfucker. What do you think?
As fucking tea.
As sugar-free tea. He said, you just put these things out of your mind. Nah, not when you look around here and see people a lot worse off than I am, with more problems than I might have. You just can't feel sorry for yourself. Holy shit. He doesn't go home till November 14th. He finally goes home.
6 months.
That's crazy. 5 months in the hospital.
5 months. Jesus.
Awful. Yeah. So anyway, back to Officer Doublewide and fucking dipshit Sparks here. Officers Doublewide and Kirby went to Utah on the 19th to pick him up. They talked to his lawyer, who's been assigned to him, Mr. Van Sciver, over the telephone that morning at 8:30 a.m., and he was arraigned, and he and the lawyer met with the Alabama officers at about 10:30 a.m. The lawyer told the Alabama officers that they could not talk to his client. He's not speaking. Like I said, he's arraigned then on a fugitive warrant from Alabama. He'd previously been arraigned on the Utah charge. So he said that the lawyer described his appearance, this is Sparks' appearance, as noticeably shaky and as if he was shivering. He was sweating. He asked me to reassure him that the judge would not hurt him. He kept saying that he was hearing things and seeing things. Yes, so that's not normal, obviously. The lawyer asked him to be committed to a state hospital for observation to see if he's, sane and ready to stand trial. And they do that, absolutely. He also meets with the officers, Doublewide and Kirby, at the jail after the arraignment. The lawyer does not permit them to question him again. The officers asked some general questions, including one that the lawyer felt was too far into things, inculpatory possibly. The Mr. Van Sciver, who's the lawyer, was afraid the Alabama officers would talk to him, Sparks, when he wasn't available. So, with the jail sergeant as a witness, he calls the jail sergeant over, and in the presence of his client, the officers, and the jail sergeant, the lawyer tells the officers not to ask him any questions if I'm not here. Okay? Shortly thereafter, he then again told them not to do that in his absence. So, anyway, that's how that goes. 7:00 that night, the Alabama officers go back to the jail and have a lengthy meeting with Sparks without his lawyer. They completely fucking ignore it, which the lawyer has no right. The guy can waive anything that he wants. So if he wants to talk, he can talk. The lawyer saying don't talk to him without me has no legal standing.
Yeah, but
because he can waive that if he wants. That's him. He can waive his rights at any time.
They've got to get that shit written down, though.
That's the thing. He needed to have something like that. So either way, they can still ask him questions. All he has to go is talk to my lawyer, and that's the end of the fucking day. So, but he doesn't. They talk to him. They tell him. He tells them that he called Trailer that day and said that he shot the people in the park because he couldn't stand the thought of coming back to Alabama. So there. He said he called the Salt Lake City police as well because he said that he wanted them to kill him. That was the point of the hostage. He wanted them to shoot him. Yes, they weren't shooting him. Yeah, they weren't shooting him. So he's like, fuck, what do I have to do here? Then he's like, if I kill the guy, they're definitely not going to shoot me. Then they're going to just bum rush me. Or they might shoot me, but I might not die. So he didn't know what to do. So he also told the officers about his apprehension by the police at the restaurant. He's talked about other activities the night of the shooting, but he did not say that he shot the couple this night. He signed a waiver of rights, and then he went back to Alabama. The statements that were most they were incriminating, obviously, but they were taken in violation of the instructions of the lawyer in Utah. He said the lawyer said that after this guy waived his extradition and went back to Alabama, he said that was the end of my representation of him. Goes back there, spends 30 days in a hospital to determine, to be evaluated. October 7th, 77, the Trailer and Kirby, Doublewide and Kirby, they end up, like I said, taking him back home to Alabama here. They advised him of his Miranda rights and warnings before leaving Salt Lake City and each successive morning during the return trip. By the way, still still have the right to remain silent today. Good morning. Let me read you your rights. He said he understood his rights. He said not only that, he started to get pissy, and he said, I understand my rights since at least 1974. He says, matter of fact, I've probably known him since junior high, is what he says. So during the trip, he intermittently discusses the shooting and shit like that. October 8th, 1977, he made the following statement. This is what Trailer says, quote, Johnny told us that he couldn't believe that we hadn't found the pistol. He asked if the crime carried the death penalty, and we told him that we weren't sure of that status, and he said he was interested in keeping his rear end out of the electric chair. I asked him why he did it, and he said, I don't know. I was there. They were there. The opportunity was available. I just did it. He said, I may never know why I did it. I was drinking and taking drugs, just having fun.
Annoying women. He was a terrible man.
You know, bothering people.
Yeah.
He said that he would. Made another statement on October 10th after being advised of his rights, and he said that he would, quote, not be in this trouble if it had not been for that high-class bitch in Jacksonville that he went up there to see. So he found a way to blame a woman on this. Blame this on a woman somehow. I don't know how. They held a lineup on October 27th in the hospital room of the Spain Rehabilitation Clinic in Birmingham, where Mark Martin is recuperating. He and Sparks and 4 other white males are placed in a room with a one-way mirror, and they said without the slightest hesitation, as soon as Martin saw him, he said, that's the guy right there.
Wow.
Fucking boom. Done. That's my man. I know him. So the lineup, though, he was not represented by counsel at this lineup. Usually that their lawyer's there, too, for lineups. Okay. The officers say that they tried to call his lawyer prior to the lineup, but couldn't get a hold of him. So they just held the lineup. They said that they told him that we can't find your lawyer, and maybe you want to hold off on this till your lawyer's here. And he says, quote, this is Sparks, quote, let's go ahead and get this over with. I'm smarter than any damn lawyer anyway. Let's just get it over with.
How is he smarter?
I'm smarter than any damn lawyer anyway.
I work at the Pick and Pay.
I manage a Pick and Pay. January 10th, 1978. Remember the shooting, the first shooting? Nance and Ken. Yeah. Well, his name in court documents, it's sometimes Donald. In other documents, it's Douglas. So I don't know what the fuck one it is. In the paper, they have it back and forth.
Really?
Somehow it got mixed up at some point. Either Douglas or Donald. I think it's Douglas. Eugene Bushey is his name. Bushey. He confesses to the January shooting.
Okay.
The original one we talked about, and the one in Germania Springs Park.
Oh, no, you can't do this.
He confessed to it, too.
What? Why is he doing this?
They weren't aware there was different things. So he's arrested January 12th after he confesses, obviously. He confessed to that, but then he later recants that confession. He says, I did shoot the people on the side of the road, but I didn't shoot the people in the park. They were just trying to make me say I shot the people in the park. So I said, fuck it, I already admitted to killing one person. Might as well say I just shot the people in the park. But that actually didn't happen.
Okay.
So he recants that. At that same time, old Johnny Sparks says, well, I didn't do it neither. If he can recant, I can. He does it in a different way. Sparks maintains his innocence by writing two letters and a poem to a reporter for the Anniston Star. That's his fucking...
In that rag.
Wow, that is fucking wild, man. So his lawyer, though, sees Bushey's confession as his way out. He says, Sparks' lawyer says, only through an extensive investigation were we able to locate and discover the existence of that confession. All I know is at this time that it exists. What it says, what it contains, I couldn't tell you. He said, but he wants it to be studied and figure this the fuck out, what's going on here. So in court, the murder trials of the two men, Bushey and Sparks, are on the same day in the same court in separate courtrooms. They're trying. This is fucking bonkers. They started. This is going to get crazier. The twist hasn't come yet, okay? This is what I mean. Your head's going to fucking explode. They're both at the court, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't matter. Bushey is charged with murdering Jackie Nance and shooting Ken James, obviously. Now, Sparks' lawyer, he says during his opening statement that he intended to prove that it was Douglas Eugene Bushey, not Sparks, who shot these people. He even admitted to it at one point. Bushey ends up pleading guilty to his case of killing Jackie Nance, okay? He pleads guilty. His wife, Dorothy, gets subpoenaed as well to come out for this one, which is very weird. Now, they get there's a hearing. It's a lengthy hearing. It's a long one, too, with this whole transcript and shit like that. Again, he says that he's understood this is where he says he's understood all his rights, and I've understood them all as early as junior high. Right. That's what he says in court. He's bragging now. So they bring in his incriminating statements from Utah and all of his shit. But they don't allow Doublewide's testimony of statements during the 3-day trip from Utah to Alabama. They say one Mirandizing in the morning isn't enough for an all-day thing. You have to, like, every once in a while, you have to refresh it. I don't know what the time is, but whatever. So he also, he had said that he was taking drugs and drinking whiskey at the time and that he just did it. And later on, he said, Traylor says he never said he didn't do it. He never denied involvement in the case ever. Even when he first talked to him at the shoe store, he was saying he was there. They talk about how he had an alibi that was complete bullshit. The courtroom falls silent when Mark Martin wheels himself in there using his head. He makes a positive in-court identification of him. That's the guy, doesn't point to him, but that's the guy there with his fucking nose. It's a big deal. It's a very dramatic thing in court here. He said that he had seen him 3 times over a 20-minute period from very close distance, and then he said close enough to where he was fondling me and sexually assaulting me. So trust me, I got a good look at him here. He said he told of arriving at the park. He said we were just talking general at the first. Then he asked me for a cigarette or a light, and he said that it all happened from there. He got shot. He came over. He said that he held it to her. He told her to lay down, fondled her, and he said then he came over and did the same thing to me. He said, quote, Donna screamed and he slapped her with his open hand. I stood up and then he stood up and started backing away. I told him he was going to have to leave or shoot us, and that's when he shot me. He said, all right, well, there you go.
Wish I didn't give those two options.
Yeah. So you're either going to get the fuck out of here or shoot me, one of the two, because I'm not going to let you by again. And, hey, you got to draw your line in the sand. That's what he did. He does do that. He identifies him in court, and the testimony shows that the light from the tennis court was bright and sufficient for him to see the sparks clearly, and his identification was a good identification. Now the rebuttal comes along, and Douglas or Donald Eugene Bushy here, the lawyers ask Martin if, you sure it wasn't Bushy? You sure it was this guy, not Bushy? On rebuttal, Mark Martin testified that he did not see Donald Bushy at the park that evening and has never seen him. So the defense calls Donald Bushy as an adverse witness, as a hostile witness, okay? You know what he testifies to?
What?
He was there that night also.
Oh, my God.
He heard the shots, had his gun there, and was there for the same fucking purpose. They were both there. There was 2 predators in the park the same night with guns looking to fucking shoot kids making out on a blanket.
Wow.
But he heard the shots and was like, I better take off, considering I'm standing here with a fucking gun.
Yeah.
He was there.
Occupied.
Occupado, motherfucker. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. That's the bank robbery. You're like, oh, man, I'm going to go shoot those kids. I'm gonna grab that guy's dick, too. That's going to be perfect. Pop, pop, pop. Oh, shit, somebody beat me to it. Are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
They don't know each other, right. Bushy and fucking Sparks. They've never met each other. They don't know each other.
But Bushy does this. This is his thing, too.
This is his thing. He did it in January. This is his thing that he did. He had a Zodiac thing going on. He shot the kids in the car. He's doing this, and someone else is like, no, I'm the Zodiac. Fuck you.
Wow.
And a lot of this probably is from the coverage of the Zodiac. Right, this is like the same type of crimes. Not to mention, this happened the week his divorce was going through, Sparks' divorce. Remember, they died. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense. He's calling multiple women 10 times a day. He's going to shoot and fondle people. His head exploded. Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
The rejection of his wife triggered all of this shit.
It had to have. So, I'm sure he had it in there to begin with.
Right.
So he says that he did own a .22 caliber pistol, and he had it with him in the car that night. So they're like, well, then you did it. And he's like, no, I heard the shots, and he did it. And Mark Martin says, nope, never saw that guy before in my life. So it doesn't really work.
It was coming one way or another for Mark. That's crazy.
Yeah, one way or another, they were getting it that night. It was just, they were fucked. He said he was wearing no hat on his head that night either, which was identified by Martin as a hat. He said he was sitting in his car and heard approximately 4 shots. He said he saw 2 people on the ground and saw a man running. And they said, did you notify the police? And he was like, no, why the fuck would I do that? I was there to do the same thing.
Somebody beat me to it. I'm not going to snitch on him.
And before this, he had prior jail terms for indecent exposure. So he started out as a flasher and then worked his way up to this type of shit. He had also pleaded guilty to murder, rape, and assault with intent to murder in the other case there. When he crawled away, he raped the girl, by the way. He raped the girl as she was dying in the fucking, it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Bushy said that when he saw the man running from the park, he had on overalls and he was a big, heavy-set guy and was, quote, clumping along.
Fat guy run.
Yep. Bushy's wife testified on the night of the shooting. Her husband came home at approximately 11:10 p.m. He had on a light blue shirt and dark green pants. His clothes were wet and muddy, and he unloaded his gun and had 5 empty shells in it. She said that night he filed the barrel with a chainsaw file, put on his cap, a bright orange bib cap, in the garage, and he said that they took their niece to the hospital, and while they were there, an ambulance arrived with the shooting victims, and she said that her husband did not come into the hospital until after the ambulance left. So she's saying he seems pretty guilty. On cross-examination, she also admitted she's aware there's a $10,000 reward for the apprehension and conviction of this one. So they're saying you're trying to get the reward. Your husband's in jail anyway. Might as well do that. So they bring a psychiatrist in from the Alabama. This is a real thing. We've talked about it before. The Alabama Lunacy Commission, which I feel like we need that all over the place. I will head the lunacy. Jimmie, will you co-chair the lunacy commission with me?
I will vice pres this shit.
And we can just have, sanity, please. Just sanity abounds. This guy said that he testified he evaluated him for 2 months. He diagnosed him as possessing a hysterical personality characterized by excitability, emotional instability, and self-dramatization. No shit. He was given a hypothetical version of the events of the shooting and stated such conduct would be inconsistent with this man's personality, though. So he said he couldn't have done that. He said that he's not psychotic or schizophrenic, but Sparks does have a personality disorder. He said that hysterical personalities could confess to a crime they didn't commit. Would they call to confess from 2,000 miles away? He wasn't sitting there getting the screws turned on him with a hot light on him and a dude in his face going, "Tell us you did it." He was on a bus 2,000 miles away. They were like, "Do you want to come back on your own?" They'd have never found him.
Couldn't have been less pressure on this guy.
Jesus Christ. So anyway, there's that. They said, quote, "It's the opinion of the Lunacy Commission that Mr. Sparks exhibits no evidence of mental disorder which would affect his criminal responsibility either now or at the time of the alleged offense. He can communicate. He can do all that shit." Verdict comes in.
Yeah.
He is found guilty of murder, obviously.
Yeah. Right.
The Bushy thing didn't throw him off. He is sentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off 30 years in prison. He gets for that, which seems like he could have got more, honestly.
That seems gentle.
Yeah, but he's lucky he didn't take anything. If he stole anything from him, then he'd be going to the fucking chair probably. So now he appeals. He says that his constitutional rights were violated when he was placed in a lineup absent his counsel. And they said, well, you waived your right there. There's no constitutional right to counsel at a pre-indictment lineup. That's not the thing. So they said you could have had your counsel there, and you said you didn't want the counsel there. Matter of fact, you said, I'm smarter than any damn lawyer anyway. Quote, let's get this over with. Right. So you're a fucking moron. That shows what a dumb shit you are. He said that they said that he wasn't denied the right to counsel, and if he intelligently and understandably rejected the offer of counsel, so he can fuck off. His testimony contradicts the police officers as well, Officer Doublewide. He says that he, on the first day, said he didn't wish to discuss the incident and that he wished to see his attorney, and he testified that he again asked to see an attorney on the third day of the return trip. And according to him, they discussed a guilty plea to murder in the second degree, allowing him, thus that would allow him to continue his education at a later date. So he's like, I said I didn't want to talk, and they still made me talk, and all this type of shit. The appeals court said, tough shit, affirmed, fuck off, go put your overalls on, you fat shit. So he's sent away to prison for 30 years. The only positive that came out of this is a radio station was honored.
What?
The next
For
year.
What?
WDNG, honored by the United Press International Broadcasters Association of Alabama for the best extended newscast in the state. One award for continuing spot news honored the coverage of the shooting of Mark Martin and Donna Tucker. So they covered the whole case, and they did a good job.
Okay.
they're both in prison. We don't really hear from Sparks anymore. Like, he's just kind of disappears.
Just fine service time.
That's it. The other one, he's in the paper more. Bushy. He tries to escape at one point.
Oh, my God.
And him and another prisoner are trying to file suit to talk about the jail conditions. And one of the suit says that the food is unfit for human consumption. There's not enough of it. The sheriff wanted you to buy his cakes and candy off the store to increase his profits, which is true. They all do that. Sheriff Joe did that for fucking ever and lined his pockets. Bushy wrote, I was never fed enough food, and most of the time I stayed hungry because I did not have the money to buy candy and cakes from the sheriff's store. No one in the jail was allowed to have a newspaper or radio, I guess so we wouldn't know what was going on outside the jail. I was never allowed outside the jail cell for the purpose of exercising. He also tried to escape at one point, too, which is a problem.
Yeah, that'll keep you inside.
But they bring up they tried to escape because they had been put in what is called the doghouse. This is a punishment.
Is it an actual doghouse?
It's not a doghouse. It's a 6 by 12 foot cell that they put you in with about 8 other people.
Okay.
And cram you in there.
Can't do that.
No, the suit said that I saw the sheriff upstairs one time, the whole time I was there, and he didn't want to hear our complaints. Some of the guys flushed sheets down the toilet to get him to come up and listen. He agreed to trade one jelly sandwich for one with meat inside, bologna. That was the big thing, a bologna sandwich.
So they were having jelly sandwiches and they wanted bologna?
Yes. So that was what the agreement was. We'll take the sheet out of the toilet if you give us bologna, prison grade bologna.
Yeah.
So that, everybody,
wow,
is it. I don't know what happened to Bushy. He went to jail, and he's an idiot, and his wife divorced him.
Yeah.
This is fucking insane. Sparks. Yeah. I meant Bushy and Sparks, both of them. They both got divorced and both got in jail. So 2 separate Zodiac killers in the same small Alabama town work in the same park that night. This is fucking insane. What is the PCBs are real, everybody? Yeah. What the fuck is happening down there? This shit is not normal.
Being that it's a small place, if there are 2 people that are willing to do that at the same time,
only so many parks.
They're probably going to end up at the same park.
Only so many parks, man. This is crazy, though. In fucking San Francisco in 1975, they didn't have 2 Zodiac killers wandering around. There wasn't 2 Sons of Sam in fucking New York, in the Bronx and shit. There's one. Wow. They have 2 here, and no one even knows about this shit. That's the craziest tale. If you like that story, tell the world about it. Get on whatever app you're using there and give us a review. Give us 5 stars and tell the world that you like the damn show. It helps us out a lot. Helps drive us up the charts. So do that. It really does help. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com immediately for your tickets to live shows. So many live shows. A lot of them are sold out. It's happening. Yeah. A lot of them are sold out. So you want to get your tickets now, even if you're like, I want to go to one next year. Well, they were bought a year and a half ago by other people, so there's limited tickets. I think the only ones with tickets available right now for this year, for 2021, is Brea Improv in 2 weeks, and then, of course, the first Seattle show, that Thursday show. There's a few left there, so get those right now.
Week and a half.
Yeah. And then, January, it's Nashville, Austin, Oklahoma City. Sold out, all sold out. So there's a lot gone there. I know that Florida also, they put their tickets on sale late, and so those Florida tickets are available. Don't make us come the fuck to Florida for nothing. I swear to Christ, sell that shit out. I will never set foot in that fucking place again.
Also, if you've got those tickets and you can't make it to the show, put them in one of the Facebook groups or put them on Twitter. People will buy them from you.
They will find social media. People will do that quickly, especially these sold out shows. Right. There's a lot of people asking all the time, where can I get tickets for Oklahoma City? What can we do? So get those right now. Patreon.com/crime and sports. This week is awesome. Yeah. Anybody over the $5 level or $5 or above gets access to everything we do, obviously. Both shows, Patreon episodes, they come out every other week. We put out 2, so you're going to get 4 of them a month. This week's are especially amazing. We have, first of all, the World Bodybuilding Federation, where Vince McMahon, the owner and chairman of WWE, thought it was a good idea in the early 90s to make posing a pay-per-view event and tried to get people to pay money to watch bodybuilding. and the ways he tried to make it exciting and everything else, it is hysterical.
He thought we were all turned on by the same thing.
Oh, man, the same thing he is. We talked about it. We watched a piece of it and did some commentary along with it. You really need to see that, even if you don't care about we don't care about bodybuilding, but it's like, hilarious.
It's like if porn was just foot fucking.
That's it. And that's look at that. Yeah. That's Vince McMahon. And then for Small Town Murders, we did one of our most requested we've ever had here, and that is the Scott Peterson case. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people still, they're arguing in there. No, he's guilty. No, he's not guilty. He didn't do it. He was framed, but he was guilty, but they didn't have enough evidence. There's so many things. And everybody it's a weird thing. No one gets angry at someone for having a different opinion about Scott Peterson.
Is that the only thing where that's the case?
That's it. 3 people with 3 different opinions could talk, and they all walk away going, I know. Yeah, totally. We all have a point. And then they walk away. Like there's no passion for it. It's the weirdest thing. It's strange. They're passionate, but they're not like mad at someone for having a different opinion because they're like, that makes just as much sense, I guess.
See from their side too.
Exactly. So why don't you see from our side and listen to the pizza theory, the risky business premise, and we'll see if it's correct. And we'll see if you agree with us about Scott Peterson. That is patreon.com/crime and sports. And of course, you're going to get a shout out, which is coming up in just a second here. And if you just want the shout out and to have wonderful karma and just be a fucking great person, you can do that as well. PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. That's a good way to get a hold of us as well. Mm-hmm. Other ways would be at Murder Small on Twitter, at SmallTownPod on Facebook, and at SmallTownMurder on Instagram.
Right.
That said, Jimmy, I need to be pummeled with the list of people who would never, ever fondle us at gunpoint. Jimmy, hit me with that list.
This week's executive producers are Ashton Martell. Happy birthday, by the way, Ashton.
Happy
Haley
birthday.
Howard. Yeah. And then also Jordan Bennett. Again, every week she's...
Thank you, Jordan. You're the best.
Simon,
you're and Simon.
They're such nice people. And
good stuff.
They're going to come to live shows, they think, as
Can't
long
wait.
as Canada figures it out. I'm excited to see him. That's all.
Definitely.
Other producers are Heather Vogel. She likes my pup, is what she said. Emma Louise Smith and Jones had a birthday. Oh, it's her anniversary. Happy birthday. Happy anniversary, Emma. Happy birthday to your wedding.
Birth anniversary.
And Stephanie Jones, Lauren Sullivan, Shelley Roberts had a birthday. Happy birthday. Montana.
Happy birthday.
Cavane, I think, broke up with somebody, and
congratulations.
We're helping Montana through it, so be choosy.
You're going to be better.
Craig Ventura, Mary Greats, Ashley Powell, Dylan Harrison. Happy birthday, Dylan. Ashley
birthday.
Long from Peru, Steve Schnell, Alex Pressler had a birthday, and
birthday.
Blue Gill and Justin love you, evidently. Baron Miguel Cicluna and the Isle of Malta, James.
Yeah, that's the wrestler from an old wrestler.
Yeah. Douglas C. Niedermeyer, Sergeant of Arms. I think that's Animal House, yes?
That is Animal House. Yes, it is.
Dalton Durbin, Alice Mullen, Happy Hour in Boca Chica, Texas. That's his CB handle. So if you're out there looking for Happy Hour, he's out there. Dances with Vapes, Shitty Blue Tuxedo, Charles Ingalls, James Martyr, Corporal Carl Kirshner's daughter got a Cheer Up Bitch shirt, and she's jacked about it. Alexander Costell, Lindsay Adams, Shauna Lawrence, Mandy with no last name, Gabriel Gaines, Holly Evans, Abigail Harris, Nick Lassiter, Melissa Schweitzer, Karen Densler, Kelsey Spainhauer, Jeffrey Shrewsbury, Neil Baxter, Sarah Wickham, Emily Jones, Paul Dawson, Torch Crawler, McKenna Carter, Madison Mesky, I think, Sharon with no last name, also Bethany with no last name, Kelsey Holbert, Megan no last name, Jessica Yulski, James.
Wolski.
Maria Wiedercare. Oh, boy. Ashley Ranch, Jennifer Fazel, Ashley with no last name, Jenna Ferguson, Nicholas Gordon, Maura Pinter, Dalen, no last name, Uncut Varl, whatever that is, Tangi, no last name, James Walsh, Daphne Bergenal, Alex Perez, Alexa Sage, The Swamp Dweller, Lisa Harris, Shane with no last name, Alex Sommerfeld, Darren Wilson, Laura Cartwright, Bruce McQuarrie, Sue Sharp, Thomas Mikachi, Mikichi, Vicky Curtis, what is this? Franziska Gotts, Cody Watson, Tess Garcia, Mary Rump, Rio with no last name, Kelsey Harper, Jason Garcia, Teresa Krebs, Keanu Coffey, Sarah Range, yes, Daniel Curtin, yes. Samantha Olson, Dan O, that's Keith Minty, Calvin Simmons, Shelley Anderson, Heidi Lundquist, Merle's Girl, I hope so. What is this? Levander Bradshaw, I think. Maddie, oh boy, Tajecki, Telecki. Kevin Gatto, Natalie Rondelay.
Tough day today.
This is brutal. Tanyelle with no last name. Renee Howerton. I hope that's Glenn's daughter.
You've given up like 4 runs through 3 1/3 here. This isn't going well.
My ERA is fucked. Brittany Hillsbury, Cassie Kitching, Marcus Sharoom, Derek with no last name, Mike Oxlong, Brandon Boiser. Oh boy. Brittany Midori.
Oh, boys.
Tyler Story, Fabian Ange, Al with no last name. He's the best, obviously, right?
You're the best, Al.
Miranda Woodall, Trout Mask, Eric Everett, Pamela Finger, Peter Stenland. Michelle Bollinger, Frankie Lewis, nope, that's Franklin Lewis Jr., Shane Peckham, Rebecca Kennedy, Zoe Worley, Cynthia McPherson, Austin Atterbury, Thomas Rose, Don Sherman, Claire Raywood, Gibson Ben in the U.S. Army, the Midnight Train podcast, Ty Oliver, S.H. Smolnick, Rachel D., Michael Billingsley, Chad Bennett, Parker Thompson, Samantha Quigley. She donates both ways. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.
Ivy with no last name, Meredith McDonald, Laverne Hoover, Tanya McDowell, Ricky Shreve, Sydney Davies, Valika, Courtney, Zoe Ann Wilson, Can't Knock the Hustle, hell yeah. Kara Guitier, guitar.
Says. I don't know.
Guitar, James, that's what that word is. Aaron Hurley, Heather Costas, Reagan De Silva, Kimberly Wagner, Oliver Stroud, and William Scott Cleary, Admiral Janeway, Jacob Jolly, Austin Lee, Emily Day, Jugs and Tugs, Brittany Bree Kim, Julia We're Below, Brett Nelson, Jennifer with no last name, Emily Pearson, William Streeter, Justin Autry, Catherine Brooks, Georgia Johansson, Ashley Rowland, Olivia Kaiser, Keith with no last name, Tina Caggiano probably, Kimberly, Sivananthan.
A tough night.
It's not.
The pitching coach just came out and talked to you, and they're like, "We'll keep an eye on him."
Ed
keep an eye on him.
Sander Westerberg, Penny Squadrino, Adam Funk, Chris Owens, Erica, and Mary Birch, Crazy Rollerson, Maria Radford, Maria Rye, Amy Walsh, Heather McCarthy, Nick Reed, Laura Whitworth, Rachel Vecchio, Tyga, McKay, Adam Philp, Aaron Webb, Kristen Simmons, R. Bobo, Autumn with no last name, Dean Jackson, John Marshall, Megan Stacy, Scott Gassot, Cecil Dubay, and Cody with no last name, and obviously all of our patrons. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for everything you've done for us this week and every other week, honestly. Thank you. We just can't thank you enough. We're so fucking appreciative of you and everything that you do for us. It means the world to us on both a financial and just a personal level of making us feel good. You've done it all. So thank you for doing that for us. Jimmie, what if they wanted to get a hold of you? How could they possibly find you?
You can remind me that you give a shit at Whisman Sucks on Instagram and Twitter. What about you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or just copy and paste my name because it's long and you'll spell it wrong. Yeah. Also, if you just want to find us both, you can do that easily. Just Google the show, Small Town Murder hosts. There's one show called Small Town Murder. People tried to copy it in many different ways, but they can't quite get just Small Town Murder. So if you Small Town Murder podcast, we're the only fucking hosts of that. As much as people will try to take pieces off of it in chunks and fucking copy off us forever. God damn it. Not to complain, but we're one of the most bitten off of fucking shows out there. I'm sorry, but we are. We see it all the fucking time in terms of different ways, and we don't even care. You know what? That's flattery.
Thank you
Fuck
for
all you
including
people.
us in this
Thank you.
Unbelievable,
yes,
oversaturated market, and we can't thank you enough for making it something for us.
That's what I mean. And when I say fuck those people, I mean those people not
steal.
our listeners,
Yeah.
the Steelers. So
steal.
thank you. Follow us on social media. Find us out there. Keep coming back. Keep coming back, and because we will. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.